Hey, hey, hey! Hey, hey, hey! OBS just like froze right as I switched scenes. That freaked me out a little bit. Hello. I enjoyed discussing the possible existence of sports ball Yuri with everyone in chat as we were loading in. Welcome. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? How is the World Cup going? I don't even... Oh my god, what happened to my webcam? I have not been following at all. I'm also, I guess, just unemployed enough that I don't like, well, I guess I do leave my house a lot, but I go to some really specific places. Why is it not fixing? Okay, there we go. I don't know why this webcam, I think it's getting worse recently. Kami 30 stream streak because of work. Yeah, I mean, I am continuously shocked how many of you guys have like really high streaks, like stream streaks, I think is what I was trying to say. I don't know how. Like clockwork, like clocking into work rather. Okay, I'm fresh out of the shower, so a little fluffier than usual. I did not straighten my hair today. I contrary to last Yuri Vampire stream, I did not dress up today. I'm kind of, you know how I was dad moding yesterday with the bro tank and the bicycle shorts and the ankle socks? Today I'm mom moding with the mom shorts. Mom shorts and ankle socks. Wearing mom mode. I got a cat on my t-shirt. It's great. Very different vibe. Yes, the three genders: vampire, mom, and dad. I just run stuff in the background. Yeah, I mean, that it makes sense, right? That people would make it to all of the stream. It's just like, it just blows my mind that you would not miss a single one. Like nowadays I stream a lot. I stream 3 to 4 times a week. And I feel like I stream at weird times. Like I'm not always at the same, well, recently I've been more consistent, but I'm not always at the same time of day. Like, it's just impressive. I guess maybe I'm underestimating how many people are tuning in from their phones. I don't really watch streams from my phones, so maybe that's what it is. Fofa's doing okay. Good to hear that. Good to hear that. You're in time for the Yuri, Allison. You're very in time. I originally was hoping we might be able to finish today. I don't think that's gonna happen. Let's plan for a part 3. So I probably will be fully offline this weekend because I have a Twisted Wonderland event on Saturday and then an Octopath event on Sunday. I've been grinding so hard on the cosplay. Specifically the Octopath one, because I had to hand make everything. I hand sewed everything. Like, it's not just like making a cosplay is whatever. That's what cosplayers do. Hand sewed the whole thing because I was like, two things, right? Like, one is my sewing machine is like really overdue for a tune-up, and I'm just like genuinely scared. If you're unfamiliar, sewing machines need to be tuned up once in a while. If they haven't been, then you run the risk of like crazy things happening. Like your needle might snap in the middle of it being used, and then it flies like across the room or something. Like, it happens all the time. I'm just really scared of it because I'm like, what if it stabs me in the eye and then I'm blinded, you know? So I'm afraid of my sewing machine currently. So number one, I was like, well, I can't use my sewing machine, and tuning it up is like a lot of, it's like the ADHD friction thing where I was like, well, I just don't feel like taking it in to get tuned up. And then number two is because the character she's a hunter, and all of her clothes are like, sorry, I like feel a fuzz on my lips. All of her clothes are like furs and like fur trim on like leather and stuff like that. And so it just like feels like really rustic, and I feel like for that rustic look you might as well hand sew it. Also, trims have to be hand sewn for the most part anyway if they're furs. Like, you can't use your sewing machine for that. So I was probably gonna have to hand sew most of it anyway. What if Sapporo eats the needle? Yeah, I do have to guard the needle very carefully. That being said, Sapporo is not really the kind of cat who like eats things. Okay, this is really bothering me. I'm sure I can, what, I like feel something, but I don't. I see it. What is that? There's like a, oh my god, it's like the thinnest little fuzz. This is probably from all the cosplay work I've been doing with the furs. They flake everywhere. It's, have you ever worked on like a glittery fabric, or like worn something that had glitter on it? It's like that, but it's fuzzies instead. There's fuzzies all over the house. I constantly feel fuzzies in my eyes even. It sucks. The furs are torture. My cat will fake eat things to get on my nerves. Sapporo has only recently learned that she's like able to eat some human foods, because up until very recently she wasn't really permitted to eat anything that wasn't like her kibble. I think her past owner barely even gave her treats, like very strict about her eating. And my roommate and I have relaxed a little bit more. So things that started happening to Sapporo after she moved into our house was like I'll be like eating a soft-boiled egg in the morning. It's my breakfast every day. And then whenever she hears me cracking the egg, she knows it's yolk time. Because I'll like take a spoon and like spoon out a little bit of the yolk because it's soft-boiled, so it's like really soft. And then I give it to her, she goes, nom, 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 nom. So now when she hears the eggshell cracking, she's like, meow, meow. So we unfortunately have kind of trained her to be extremely demanding. Oh, geez, Temptations, welcome to chat. It's good to have you. I hope you're enjoying your time here so far. Hand sewing, are your hands okay? I'm actually pretty used to hand sewing. I do a lot of hand sewing for cosplay things because most of what I do now in recent years, I haven't like sewn my own cosplays very much. So it's mostly alterations of like thrifted things or things that I ordered. Oh my god, the double alert situation. Moonsin, happy 46 months! Excuse me, years! Thank you for the resub, I appreciate it. What are we at now for the plus goal? I don't even know how to see. I don't know how to see. I give up, whatever. This is why my bicycle is not used a lot. I need to take it in, but when will I actually do? Yeah, my bicycle hasn't been used in 5 years. I think it's because I'm missing a tire pump. It eventually got to a point where it's like I use it like a rack in my garage. It's not a bike anymore. That's a garage shelf. I drive an electric car and then I go, how do you say that in English? Hook? Hang? I hang the charging cable thing over the bicycle handles. That's the only purpose it serves now. It's not a bike. That's not a bike. It's over. Yolk time is so valid, Triple Tauruses. There's a reason I love soft-boiled eggs. It's because they're so yolky. Okay. Today we are not finishing Beauty Vampires. We'll spend a good 2.5 hours probably. But I want to get to a point where next stream we can probably finish. It's hard when it comes to like new visual novels because nobody really has a sense of when it's gonna end, which is how we ended up with such a long part 3 stream for The Last Winter Night. When we streamed it, it was like 5.5 hours long. Well, to be fair, it was like 4.5 hours, and then I spent an hour chasing down leftover things and then failing. It was okay. It was worth it. I have too much birdseed and I'm too scared to use it. Jade Ivy, why are you scared to use it? I assume the title is a vampire reference. It's a vampire reference and an Ouran High School Host Club reference. Kiss, kiss, suck my blood. Do 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 do. What else? I was about to say what else rhymes with blood, but in the original it's also maybe you're my love. So it would just be blood again. But instead of fall in love, it's maybe you're my love. So then suck my blood could become, I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. Wholesome. Oh, I guess Ouran was pretty wholesome, actually. Now that you bring it up, I'd never thought of Ouran High School Host Club as wholesome. But you're absolutely correct. I don't want to interrupt the flow of stream. I respect that, Jade. Just remember that there's always somebody who's redeeming something. Also, if the flow of stream like really mattered, I would disable redeems. Like there are times where I just straight up don't do them. We turn them all off. You need to get on your bike. Your upper thighs will tone even more and maybe chafe more. I can't. My thighs are too thick as it is. I can't do it. Triple Taurus has got it immediately. Hell yeah. Our cats have the same kind of reaction to hearing the spoon clink against the oatmeal bowl. Wait, do your cats eat oatmeal? Can cats eat oatmeal? Oh shit, what happened to my webcam again? Why is it constantly doing this? Why do you hate me? Why do you hate me? Ooh, ooh. I honestly don't even know, man. Is that in focus? I'm just gonna manually focus at this point. That looks to be in focus, but if I shift it all of this looks in focus. It doesn't seem like it's changing. We're just gonna keep it here. During Pride Month. Yeah, it's fully homophobic. Oh, it is one letter removed from cat. Oh, the milk left over. Oh, I forget. People usually eat sweet oats, which has milk in it. Fully forgot about the existence of sweet oats. Okay, let me see what that was. Okay, no, it's okay. It's my organizing chat. I turned it off. I will say, after starting to stream more regularly, I feel like I've been slipping a little bit on my like local organizer duties, but I guess that's kind of how it goes. It's like having a job again. I'm like low-key self-employed now. Have you listened to my new cover yet? It's okay. I'm gonna harass you guys again once it's distributed and like on Spotify and stuff, because then I'm gonna be like, stream wins anthem English cover. For now, it's just the YouTube video. It's actually doing pretty well. I'm surprised. YouTube usually hates me. How's distribution going? Let's see. The cover's very good. Thank you. I've seen your unemployed cover. What do you mean unemployed cover? Oh, the one where the thumbnail has the arrow and it's just like me going like, I love that thumbnail. Speaking of self-employed, precisely, Kami. Do you know how much money I make from my music every month? $20. I just want my music to break even. That's my goal, is that I want my music to pay for itself, because commissioning instrumentals and art and mixes and such like costs so. Oh, Kami! Thank you for 5 gift subs. I just need to beg more, guys. Regno, Crazy Joe, Devons, hello, hi, Toshiro. Welcome all of you to the clutch. Thank you, Kami, for the gifts. I appreciate it. I was about to say $20. Okay, so Sound Drop is roughly $20 every 2 months, and then I think DistroKid, I use both distributors. DistroKid is sometimes a little more. It kind of depends. Yeah. I remember when Jane Doe came out, I had a $100 a month once. That was pretty crazy. But I did split that one 3 ways with my duet partner and our producer. So I guess if I hadn't done that, it would have been 300. But then maybe that song would have broken even if I'd commissioned everyone. I don't know. Please sub. I will beg for you. Thank you, Thanatos. I appreciate it, Kami, truly. How are we on the goal? Let me see. 43 out of 100. Not bad. And at the roughly midpoint, a little past the midpoint. Okay, we'll see. If I can hit it this month, I'll try a little harder next month. This month has just been kind of crazy. All right. Well, without further ado, let us first of all launch the game guide. I walked out of the shower like taking my sweet fucking time, like standing and like in Chinese we say fatai. I was like just zoning out. And then I was like, why did I feel like I had something I have to do? Look at the clock, it says 1:30. I'm like, there's definitely something I was supposed to be doing. My cortisol levels are officially too low, guys. Maybe it's bad. Maybe it's bad to be too unstressed. We'll see. Surely it will come back up again over time. But for now I'm vibing, and I don't think that's a bad thing. The so-called low cortisol dance, that is how I'm trying to be all the time. Okay. Here we are. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. Make sure the sound is audible for you guys. I think you're still hearing my BGM right now. Okay. Is that kind of loud? Let me turn it down. Okay, maybe like this. Being too unstressed isn't a thing. Enjoy life. Thank you, Julian. I'm doing my best. I feel like my entire life philosophy, I ran the full gambit, right? Or the full circle, rather. Where I started out like being really stressed out about everything. Like, oh, it's really important that I like make a difference in this world. Blah, 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 blah. And now I'm like, if I can be a good villager and do it in a way where I'm not mega stressed out all the time, I think that's a win. I think that's all I could ask for from my mortal existence. A bit loud. Okay, Lancer, let me know if it continues to be too loud. What would it cost to break even, YY? I average $500 to $700 spent per cover if it's fully produced from scratch. So like the instrumentals usually, nowadays everyone's charging like baseline 400 to 500 for the arrangement. Sometimes they throw in mix with that. If not, I have to pay another probably 150 to 250 for mix even sometimes. But usually they'll like add it in or like give me a discount for the mix. Time and tune, if it's not included in the mix, is another up to 100 usually, depending on the complexity. And then art can range anywhere from, depends on the complexity again, but anywhere from like 200 to 500. Like this whole thing, there's a lot of ranges, but breaking even on my music would probably mean at least 500 to 1,000 a month if I'm doing monthly music releases. Pretty crazy. And Spotify pays peanuts. Famously treats its musicians horribly. Bruna, hello! Always streaming during World Cup games. Sorry, I don't sports ball. I just truly and I live like very close to a host city. Just completely not in my head. It's like it's a full object permanence thing where I'm like, I don't think the World Cup exists. And then like one of my news podcasts will mention it or you guys will bring it up in chat. And I'm like, oh yeah, the World Cup is happening right now. That's crazy. Whoa, why? Holy crap. Oh my God, Twitch can't even see. Twitch can't even see the crazy shit YY just did. Thank you for the $100 super chat. You're insane. Hope this helps offset your motivation. You just mostly paid for animation. Yeah, you literally did. I appreciate that, YY. You can consider yourself a sponsor of the Wins Anthem video now. Red Super, exactly. Have I ever seen a Red Super? I don't think so. That's so exciting. Oh, Lucha, welcome to chat. Whoa, yeah. YY, I really appreciate it. It's very kind of you. I think I still technically owe you a short cover to be released, so don't let me forget. I haven't forgotten. It is on my to-do list, but as you can tell, I've been kind of crunching. I'll get to it. The fact I got the notification, I knew immediately which game you were playing. Amber Armed Heart. What else could Kiss Kiss Suck My Blood be about, you know? I was there when you rated Phoebe. Oh, okay, well, welcome to this chat also. I hope you enjoy it as much as you enjoy Phoebe streams, or almost. As a Phoebe fan, I feel like this is asking a lot. Phoebe is really, really peak. I really admire VTubers who are really funny and don't rely on explicitly like toilet humor, if that makes sense. I think it's rare. So like toilet humor and like sexual humor and stuff like that. And I feel like Phoebe's one of them. Kamishiro Rita's the other one. They're both really wholesome but genuinely hilarious, kind of chaotic in ways you don't expect. It's really fun. I like those kinds of gaps, shall we say. Okay, well, let's go in. We're at 20 minutes in. That's a good switchover point. I'm gonna load in. Okay, so to recap, perfect. Act 2, Dust and Decay. To recap for Act 1, basically, you play as a rich lady named Meike, a girl who I think is literally 18, like really young. No, she's 20. They said she was older, 25, 26, something like that, in her mid-20s. She's about to get married off to like some rich guy, Avon something or other. And she is also Avon something or other, Von Esser, something like that. In the carriage on your way to your betrothed's home, you're attacked by bandits, your parents are killed, your maid grabs you and runs away. Their maid's name is Henny. We love Henny. Henny grabs you and runs. Eventually you're like hiding from the bandits, they're looking for you, and then a vampire comes out and like kills the 4 men, and it's like described as like a slender petite figure of a woman who like somehow beats and kills 4 men. So Henny's like really spooked by it, and then you wake up in a jail cell and Henny's with you, and then you spend a lot of time with Henny in the jail cell, and eventually the vampire shows up and she's hot. And then And then you negotiate. Long story short, you negotiate so that Henny leaves. And to do so, you tell a lie that's like, oh, actually, like, I know what it looks like, but like, Henny's the lady and I'm the maid. And like, nobody buys your fucking shit ass lie for a second. Because Maike's like obviously the well-bred young lady or whatever. So Henny's let go, just because the vampire's like, you know what, that's pretty funny. Sure. Henny's released into the dark wilderness outside. Not necessarily safe, and you're left in the jail cell. Eventually the vampire like fetches you and gives you a room. And I think the implication is that she's like eventually going to eat you. But for now, you might serve some other purpose. Like, she's just eaten 4 men. She's good. So that's the recap. It was fun. I think Ebihima's writing always scratches a good itch. So I'm excited to see where this one goes after this. Like, now that we've really set up for the dynamics to take off, I think this is the part where we'll finally start getting actual banter with our vampire lady. Betrothed, who was surprisingly a hot geese. Yeah, we were like super hating on the fiance, and then they showed us like sprite art of him, but like the top half of his face was darkened out, so you could only see the bottom half. And then we were like, maybe we don't hate him. Like, oh damn, he's kind of maybe hot. This sucks. Dapper Dabs, welcome. I think he might not be Yvonne, actually. Like, he wanted to marry her for her title. Oh, you're right, because he was rich, but they were titled. And so, you're right. Good reminder. So the fiance is probably not nobility, or like not high nobility like her family is, but her family's broke. So it's like old money running out meets implied potentially new money. Unclear. Yeah. Oh no, she's hot. Yeah. Yep. Pretty much, Sippy, you got it. We are easily swayed. We folded like a lawn chair, as they say. As the kids say. Okay, anyway, here we go. Act 2, Dust and Decay. Oh, we were also gonna have me voice one of them with a British accent. I don't know if we ever decided on that. While Meike began to drift off into an uneasy slumber, Henny was busy cutting her own way through the dense, sprawling forest. Wait, I thought we weren't gonna see Henny ever again. She's right here. Magdalena had been as good as her word. That's the name of the vampire. She was like, call me Lena. And she had indeed set Henny free, a concession that Henny hadn't expected from her. How could we not fold for hot women? Well, the thing is, we didn't fold for a hot woman. We folded like a lawn chair for the fiance, who is a rich man. Multi-fandom, welcome. The other with a German accent? Why? No. Oh mein Gott. What was the phrase you guys said to do in a German? Oh, the Transylvanian accent. I will suck your blood. Monsters weren't known for their amenability nor for their sincerity. Oh, and Lena's like probably 100-something years old. Henny had believed when Magdalena had dragged her bodily from that cold, hateful prison that she would be put to death, torn apart just like the bandits in that forest had been. Henny's heart had hammered in her chest with each step through those subterranean cells, and inwardly she had cursed Magdalena's name. She had thought of demanding that the vampire let her go, but common sense had told her any act of resistance would be in vain. Magdalena would not listen to her. Why would she, when Henny was but a human woman, and a short, dowdy one of unprepossessing features besides? Arguable Magdalena's a cold woman because she's dead. Literally cold. Yeah, I think Henny does have like either a Scottish accent or like a is it called a Yorkshire? I forget. There's like another London accent of the streets. I'm trying to remember. Henny had been prepared to die for Maike's sake, but she hadn't wanted to die needlessly while Meike suffered still. Fear had dogged her, sewn beneath her skin like 1,000 needles. But in the end, Magdalena had surprised Henny. She had, after all, led Henny through her large, dust-covered entrance hall and out to the front door. That's Henny. What voice did I give Lena again? Well, Magdalena had addressed Henny thus, one eyebrow raised as she pushed the door ajar. Are you going to leave like your silly, sentimental mistress wanted you to, or would you prefer to stand there looking stupid? What? You knew that Maike's my mistress all this time? Bro, who would have fallen for that? Of course I did. Do you take me for a fool? I wasn't born yesterday. Deception isn't very hard to sniff out once one has been alive for as long as I, and your mistress's attempts at subterfuge were laughably poor. Oh, I thought the same myself. You guys are just shit talking. Meike always loses when we play card games. She's awful at them, really, but goodness, if you already knew that Meike's my mistress and I am the maid, why are you letting me go and not her? Well, why not? I can do as I please. This is my home, and I am free to decide who I allow to stay here. Bruna, you get it? You get it, Bruna? It is, yes, but enough. It is not your place to question my decisions, human. You must remember to respect your elders and your betters. I have decided to let you go out of the goodness of my heart. I released you from your cell, and now I have even brought you to my front door, but still you will not go. Do you like it here so very much? Please don't tell me that you have a death wish that would undermine all your poor mistress's ploys. If you truly loved her, you would not let her noble sacrifice go to waste now, would you? You... Henny had grit her teeth together as she regarded Magdalena, stung by her words. Magdalena was not so very tall, nor so very imposing, but her supreme self-confidence was unsettling, as was the latent malice which lurked beneath her pristine smile. Had Henny not seen what Magdalena was capable of in the woods, she would not have known to fear her. Oh, important context. Only Henny witnessed it. Meike seems to have, like, probably trauma erased the memory of the chase through the woods. Henny had seen what Magdalena could do, however, and it unsettled her. I know, Henny's so cute, right, Dapper? There's a reason all of last stream we were just like, we're Team Henny. And then when she left, well, she almost died. And then we were like, and then she left instead. And we were like, oh no, we're never going to see Henny again. And then the first one we see in Act 2 was Henny. The bandit screams and their severed limbs would not leave her, daubed against her eyelids just as their blood had been splashed red and streaky across the forest floor. Henny had known that she could not fight against Magdalena, and neither could she argue with her. It had been abundantly plain, much as the nose upon Henny's own face, that she would not let her Meike go. I just remembered something, guys. I have to employ the command. Good. I should set a timer on it so it spams chat like once every 15 minutes. Anyway, she'd already made up her mind. All right then, I'll leave if that's what you're after. I won't forget you though, Magdalena. I won't forget what you've done to me, or to Meike, and I won't forget that you're still holding her captive. I'll come back, I swear it on my ma's life, and I won't leave without Meike. Really now? That is quite the declaration. I suppose I shall look forward to seeing you then again, Lady Henrika. It gets so lonely here. Oh, is that a reference? Is that a reference to Ebihime's other game? It gets so lonely here, living in this desolate old pile, and I do love entertaining guests. I will be sure to save a space for you at my tea table, ensuring that you are able to make it out of the forest in one piece, of course. It is awfully dark out there, and look at all the fog. I don't much fancy your chances, but what do I know? You might be more durable than you look. Henny had not dignified this teasing retort with an answer. Instead, she had turned, trying to assume as much dignity as she could, which, given her life spent serving the Von Essen family, was more than one might have assumed, and marched off with her head held high. Lena's not a fool either. Yup. I fully expect Henny to come back with villagers toting pitchforks and torches and stuff. Partially because the Beauty and the Beast vibes are so strong here, right? Like, it's a very similar kind of story beats setup. If her shoulders had trembled when she entered the forest, it had not been too apparent. I really like Lena's toothy grin. It's really off-putting. Okay, sorry, just checking YouTube chat real quick. Looks healthy. Now free from Magdalena's clutches, Henny continued to pick her way through the woods. Henny thought of Magdalena and of Meike and how her poor mistress must have been faring as she trudged onward. Her thoughts strayed, too, on occasions, to her own safety, and whether she really would be able to emerge from the woods unscathed. But whenever she began to doubt herself, she bit the inside of her cheek in self-rebuke. It was not, Henny told herself, a case of if she would escape from the woods, but when. Beauty and the Beast but the furries had their fun, and now it's the lesbian's turn. Exactly, Bruna. Henny knew that if she succumbed either to wild animals or to the icy air, Meike's fate would be sealed. Meike was relying upon her, which meant she had to keep going. There was nothing else for it but to keep putting one foot after the other, no matter how many times it took. Henny continued to walk, her dark eyes focused on the uneven path ahead. It was very dark in the forest, and the moon did little to light her way. The trees were dense, their foliage vast, and only a few slivers of milky light could penetrate their bower. Reverse Carmilla! Yeah! I was talking about Carmilla last time, too. The wind blew cold and sharp, further teasing Henny's dark hair into disarray. Her dress, which was stained and dirty from the night's exertions, fluttered about her legs. Back then, Henny had thought only of escaping from the bandits. She had squeezed Micah's hand tightly in her own, and had pulled her along as a child might a beloved toy, careless of which direction they had been fleeing. Henny hadn't known where they were going. She hadn't much cared, either. She had only wanted to save herself and her mistress, too. Now Henny walked at a more regular pace. Her limbs were too weary to run. By God, her legs felt like lead, and she felt the need to preserve her strength. The hours passed by in a blur, unbeknownst to Henny, who had no timepiece as she walked. She did not know where Augsburg was, or if she was even moving in the right direction. She could have been doubling back upon herself for all she knew. It did not seem to matter very much. Henny was no stranger to physical labor, but she had been walking for such a long time her soles were beginning to blister. Every step induced new, exquisite agonies within her which made her gasp. Her bones seemed to scrape together, and a canker on her ankle burst, filling her shoe with pus. All the while, the cool wind tugged at her hair, nipped at her cheeks, whipped her skirts about her thighs. Henny heard, or thought she could hear, a faint howling in the distance, like that of stalking wolves. Wolves. Agitation seized her, an agitation so great she could not quell it even by biting the inside of her cheek. Her mouth filled with blood, her tongue tingling with its coppery tang as she hurried on. She moved between the trees, fitfully aware of the howling, which no longer sounded as distant as it once had. Woof! It was growing louder and louder, rattling about inside her like a stone until rattling about inside her skull like a stone until... Having a bad reading day. What's going on? Oh! Henny exclaimed, surprised, as she burst through a copse of thickly packed trees and out onto a mud path. She had emerged at long last onto a road, one of many which twined through the tall trees of the forest. There, not so far away, she could see the source of the noise which she had heard. It was not a pack of hungry wolves, after all, but a carriage drawn by two thin, hungry-looking horses. Hardly able to believe her luck, Henny dashed to the carriage, then cried out breathlessly to the coachman seated upon it. "Wait! Oh, please wait! Will you not stop for me? I'm in dire need of help! I need to go to Augsburg immediately, before it's too late. It's very, very important, I swear, good sirs. My poor mistress's life is in danger, and I am the only one who can save her. If you don't help me, I fear she might die." Micah felt disoriented when she awoke the following day in an unfamiliar bed which smelt of something spoiled. It took Micah a few moments to become fully cognizant of her surroundings. She had slept little the night prior, and her head ached, her eyes pulsing in their sockets like molten steel. Wow. I think this kind of explains the weird sheet situation we were seeing last CG, where it was like, girl, those aren't clothes, those are like sheets. Why was I like, oh my. Groggily, Micah pressed the heel of her palm to her eyes and rubbed them. Then she looked around in earnest, but soon found herself confused. Aurora, I agree. The bedroom Micah found herself in was so unlike anything she had seen before that she initially wondered whether she was still dreaming. She pinched the inside of her arm in the hopes that the room would shift like water, but it remained immutable. She must have been awake then. The pain made this irrefutable, even if the chill which assailed her did not. Micah had faint recollections of running through the forest last night. Her parents had both been stabbed in their carriage, or so Henny had told her, but these memories remained a blur. Micah could not recall her parents' final moments, but she could remember awaking, in the dungeons of an unfamiliar abode governed by an unfamiliar woman. This woman, who had introduced herself as Magdalena, had claimed to be a vampire, and now Micah was her prisoner. Oh, I didn't need to recap. You guys gotta recap right here. The bedroom Micah found herself in seemed even more miserable in the daylight than it had last night, obscured by a veil of darkness. It was more dilapidated than the servants' quarters at Micah's home, and had most assuredly seen less use. The furniture, though luxurious, was scuffed, the carpet threadbare, the basin upon the bedside table covered in hairline cracks. Dust covered every conceivable surface, and spiders had made their homes in the corners of the room, their gossamer webs outstretched like grasping fingers. The air was so stagnant, Micah felt compelled to open one of the windows, but her attempts were in vain. The windows were locked. She could find no key to aid her. Perturbed, Micah slumped down at the desk by the window, then stared through the stained, smeary glass. Magdalena's garden sprawled out before her in a dense, twisted tangle. Perhaps there had been flower beds in this garden once, neatly planted in an apple orchard and any number of other arboreal delights. Arboreal? Arboreal, probably? But age had spoiled it all. Meike was no gardener, but she could deduce at a glance that Magdalena's garden had been unloved for years. Hide! You're just in time for Yuri! You did miss Henny, though. But welcome in. Good to have you. Beyond the walls of Magdalena's garden was the forest, all tall, imposing trees, not so dissimilar from the proud oak which guarded the von Essen family mausoleum. Arborizel? Arborizel? Wait, there was no S in there, Dapper. I agree that the bedhead is really high. The trees emerged from the fog, their boughs raised towards the sky, festooned in darkly verdant leaves. There were so many trees that Meike couldn't see very far beyond them. Oh, the S is a typo. Arboreal. Okay, cool. Perhaps there wasn't much to see at all out here other than nature. The rest of the world seemed very distant indeed. Meike herself might have been a figure from a fairy tale, a languishing maiden trapped inside a tower by a wicked witch, unable to escape. The sun hung above the treetops, suspended, half hidden by clouds. Its rays were weak and did little to dispel the cold which pervaded inside Meike's bedroom. Looking out the window made Meike feel more trapped than lying in her bed had. At least in her bed, she couldn't imagine that somebody might come and rescue her. Seeing the dense trees which surrounded Magdalena's gardens made these hopes feel hopelessly naive, however. Who would dare venture all the way into the woods in the hopes of finding her? Walter might well send out a search party. Oh, that's her fiance's name. I was like, who the fuck is Walter? But he would have no idea where to begin searching, and Meike wasn't certain if she much wanted Walter to find her either. She would languish inside Magdalena's home, wasting away like the flaking paint upon the walls until... Oh. Meike's dreary thoughts were soon interrupted by the discontented rumblings of her stomach. The red eyeshadow on the lower lid is such a good look, right? Why? I'm so happy that it's like fully become a makeup trend now. All of a sudden, she recalled that she had not eaten very much the night prior, or drunk very much for that matter. Her throat was parched. It seemed almost heartless to experience such base desires after her parents' death, but Meike's body knew little of propriety. Okay. All it cared of was its own immediate discomfort. Fortunately, Meike did not have to search for long to find a means of alleviating her hunger pangs. Somebody, Magdalena presumably, had left a tray on her bedside table, which bore a plate of scones, a teapot, and a saucer. Wait, why does this vampire have, like, actual human food? Meike soon discovered that the teapot was still warm, a few indistinct ribbons of steam unspooling still from its spout. Magdalena must have entered her bedroom less than half an hour prior, while Meike had been asleep to set her breakfast down. The scones, meanwhile, seemed plain, but they would be nutritious enough. How can clothes be so opaque and so revealing at the same time? I know, right? What I said last time at the CG, where I was like, oh, this artist clearly has like plenty of experience illustrating like breasting boobily. Because breasting boobily isn't about having massive badonkers, but rather, shall we say, shapely ones. You understand. We are, of course, people of taste. Meike was surprised that Magdalena kept any food at all in her home, given the curious nature of her diet. As a vampire, did she not sup only upon blood? The vampire's a tea girl as well. One of us. Okay, speaking of which, let's steep some tea. Today's tea is a roasted Taiwanese oolong. Got a lot of that roasty flavor. Magdalena busting out the century-old cookbooks. I did try to make scones on stream once. That actually went okay. The part that did not go as well was the clotted cream. That was much harder. I think I like kind of got it and then I kind of didn't. I kind of ruined it. I overmixed it and it like kind of became butter. It was hilarious. All about the accentuation. You get it. You get it, Bamboo. We are people of culture. I'm gonna steep some jasmine. Hell yeah, Jade! Wait, Jade, you mentioned you drink a lot of jasmine, like it's your go-to tea. Can I ask what brand you like? Okay. Where had Magdalena procured these scones? Had she made them herself for Meike's sake? We're still wearing the curtains. It's curtains, but there's also like a slit underneath it. Last time it just looked like curtains. We were like, those are not clothes. Those are just sheets. It was giving like toga. The thought of her vampiric host laboring in the kitchen, her sleeves rolled up like those of a common drudge, was an amusing one. It was almost enough to make Meike smile. Fabric is really hard to do to begin with, but using fabric to highlight stuff that's under the fabric takes a lot of real skill. I know, right? I know, right, Dapper? I strongly agree. The way the folds are illustrated, and then shall we call them the angles? The fact that it's like erotic without being revealing is really impressive. I think that's just very tastefully executed. Local tea shop I've got. Oh, you have silver tips and pearls. How fancy. I love it for you. Congrats. Wedged underneath the teapot was a note, which Meike extricated. She smoothed the note out, then examined it. The note was a perfunctory one, written in an elegant, swooping cursive. It said, quite simply, "Eat up and get your strength back. You'll need it." Nobody had signed the note, but Meike was sure it was from her. I won't say it out loud, but you know what I'm looking at. Was from her mysterious... Oh, and also... was from her mysterious hostess. Multi-fandom's like, what? I didn't say it out loud this time, okay? Like, last time it drove so many of you guys insane. I was like, maybe having too much fun in your pain. Dapper's like, what do you mean? Meike wondered whether the note had been intended as a friendly gesture or a threat. Perhaps it was a mixture of both. Meike was unsure how to feel about it, but she supposed it was nice that Magdalena had gone to the effort to care for her. Tea and scones were better than bread and water. Magdalena might not be so bad after all. For a bloodthirsty vampire, that was, who meant one day to murder her. Allison doesn't see it. It's better that we don't tell you, Allison. Meike brought the rim of her teacup to her lips and sipped at the amber liquid within. She had half expected it to taste astringent, of sharp, tangy iron and of blood, but she soon found it was quite inoffensive. Maybe it's a sum? Meike took another sip of the tea and then another. Though she had meant to be cautious, what if the tea was laced with something? Her thirst soon got the better of her, and she drank the whole cup in half a minute. I mean, you accepted your death the moment you let Henny take your place to leave. Why are you still afraid of dying at this point? I feel like if I were Meike, I'd be like, oh shit, like I lived another night. That's pretty wild. Setting the cup back down on the saucer, Meike then turned her attention upon the scones. Our thirst is gonna get the better of us here too in a bit. She got fed and all of a sudden she's like, she's not that. Is that not accurate though? Are we not all like, is the way to everyone's heart not through their stomach? I feel like it's true. It's because it's also kind of an acts of service thing. You know, like it encapsulates so many different love languages. Providing food for somebody is like, it's acts of service, it's gift giving, right? Like it's there's a lot. I thought it was a Taurus thing. Wait, what? A Taurus thing to be like food motivated, I guess? I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. I stopped hating my bosses because they gave me, oh, that's wild. That's pretty wild. I worked very briefly at a massive company. I'll just say it. It's called Google. I did 2 internships at Google back in the day. And I think actually a lot about how the way they provided like free meals to employees was like a huge way to buy their compliance. Like a big reason I did not go back after the 2 internships was because so-called like googliness, like googly culture was frankly very disturbing. I was like, I gotta leave. I don't care how much they're paying me. I'm fucking out. I want to give tea to somebody now. Yeah, I think that's also why like in Chinese culture we gift tea to people so much. Like we always say when you buy tea, it's not just for yourself. It's mostly actually more than for yourself. It's for giving other people. That's why I wanted to start a tea club this year. And then I have some scaling problems. I don't buy big batches enough to run my own tea club, unfortunately. It is what it is. She ate delicately, taking care not to drop any crumbs upon her lap or the floor, though why did it matter really when the carpet beneath her was so worn? A few crumbs would hardly spoil this bedroom more than time already had. Tea is so good, Dapper. Cheers. In fact, they might serve to make the room more homey. But then again, perhaps not. It would have been a tall order to breathe even a modicum of life into this room. Meike doubted even Dr. Frankenstein himself could have... Oh, so Mary Shelley is canon in this universe. Dr. Frankenstein himself could have managed such a feat despite the cadavers he had stitched together and raised from the dead. Meike was so cold. Even with the tea on her tongue, she was starting to feel distinctly cadaverous. What a word. Distinctly I'm beginning to feel distinctly cadaverous. Oh goodness me. Maybe I should give her like a pathetic Brit voice. She finished her breakfast, then looked about her room once more, unsettled. Surely she could not stay here, motionless, waiting for Magdalena to stop by and slaughter her. There had to be something she could do to escape her predicament. Giving someone food is saying like, hey, I want you to be okay. Yeah, exactly. It makes sense, absolutely, that it would endear you to people to give them food. Meike rose to her feet, buoyed by sudden, nervous energy, and padded barefoot over to the door. She grasped the door handle and tried to turn it, but in vain. I feel dead all the time too, girl, says Goodnight. The door was locked and it stubbornly refused to shift. Meike had expected as much and wasn't particularly surprised. Slipping out through the door would have been too easy. Oh, there's no history button. Never mind. I wanted to see the exact wording of the note again. Next, Meike turned to the window, but her hopes of escaping via the window had already been dashed. Gilded cage time. A cage of roses even. Not even so gilded of a cage. Oh my god, did you get... This is such a detour. I'm sorry. I will try to keep this sidebar very short. I read Long Walk to Freedom, Nelson Mandela's autobiography, and in it he tells his story, much of it, I won't say most of it, like a good half of the book is like the many decades he spent on Robben Island in the prison while he was like arrested. Did you know that towards the end of that time they put him in like a really nice bungalow? Like he had like a cottage, and a personal chef. Isn't that crazy? Like I can't remember the exact details of like how that happened, like the political forces that made that pan out like that, but he went from like just truly abject prison conditions to like true gilded cage stuff towards the end of it. I love these totally unexpected tangents. Isn't that wild, Dapper? Yeah, he had a personal chef. He had house guests. He would host dinner parties. Like it was wild in prison. This is why you're my favorite streamer. You just have to be well read to win Bruna's favor, guys. Okay, anyway, these are awesome to hear. I'm glad you guys enjoy the tangents, but I'm gonna jingle my own keys now. Anyway, it was a good autobiography. I actually really recommend it. It was a very, very interesting read. I do think he glossed over a few things that I think he did that were not very good, but that's what happens when you write an autobiography. Namely, I'm like, evidence suggests that he probably cheated on like 2 of his wives. Even Nelson Mandela, guys. Okay, anyway, Meike knew already the window was locked, and even if she had been able to open it, it was too high up for her to escape from. Meike stood by the desk and peered, eyes narrowed, through the dirty glass. Magdalena's garden seemed a very long way down, blanketed though it was by the fog. Meike didn't much fancy the thought of smashing the glass, and she fancied even less the thought of jumping to her almost inevitable doom. I'm the only streamer you watch, Allison? That is high praise. Thank you. By the end, the apartheid authorities realized they needed to negotiate with him as the head of the ANC. Yeah. And the fact that the ANC like retained him as the head of the ANC the whole time he was in prison and smuggled, like the reason we have his autobiography now is because they smuggled it out in sections. And they had buried it in the prison yard. It was crazy. Anyways, okay, I'm gonna stop. Read the book. Even if she didn't break her spine, it seemed likely she would break an arm or a leg or both. Why was considering going to prison, guys? It did not seem like escape was an option, though she had of course known that already. I'm the only streamer that exists. Your object permanence goes crazy. Magdalena would not have been that careless. Okay, we're gonna give her a British accent. I've decided. After pondering it for a whole stream, I've decided. Whenever she speaks, the posh Brit will come out. I'll do my best to make it not sound like Bayonetta, but I do think it will help distinguish her from the deeper, sultrier voice that I've been giving Lena. Meike sighed, defeated, and took a seat once more upon the bed. It groaned beneath her, as though in pain. Sounded rather like it wanted to be put out of its misery. You want the posh Brit redeem right now? Oh, that wasn't so posh of me. That sounded a little distinctly unposh. Meike could hardly blame it, given how very old it must have been. She felt distinctly miserable herself, though there was one silver lining, she supposed, to her captivity. At least Henny was all right. Meike hoped she was all right, at least. If she was not, then... But Meike would not allow herself to finish this thought. Henny had to be all right. She simply had to. Otherwise, Meike's sacrifice would have been for nothing. I don't know why my voice got higher as I started the Posh Brit Redeem, but it seems like I couldn't help myself. Feeling the need now to distract herself, Meike rose, then shed the nightgown Magdalena had given her. She changed, not into her old dirty dress from the day prior, but into one of the new, clean gowns Magdalena had left in her chest of drawers, all neatly pressed frills, which smelt only faintly of mold. Good idea for Meike's voice? Hell yeah. Now newly outfitted, Meike paced the room, wondering what she could do. It's so gothic, Lolita! It's like a little bit military Lolita, a little bit gothic, like a gothic military combination. Oh, that's beautiful! So tasteful, so elegant. I love the shoulder silhouette. That's delightful. I do enjoy that design. And your hair pinned up so tastefully. Oh! Oh my! Can you blame Lena for being like, oh, maybe I won't eat her immediately. Maybe we'll toy with our food a little bit first. Okay. We've gotten so many outfits. I feel like the art in general has been I feel very spoiled. While living with her parents, Meike's mother had often instructed her to work on her embroidery hoop. Lady von Essen had thought sewing a suitable pastime for a young woman, that or playing the piano. Meike's mother had always thought music too passionate to be appropriate, however, and in any case, Meike had never been very good at the piano. She had never been very good at embroidery either. Embroidery? Meike had sewn cornflowers and magpies until her fingers had threatened to fall off. Until she had become so thoroughly sick of these twee, repetitive patterns, she had felt like hurling her hateful embroidery hoop clean through the window. Meike considered herself fortunate indeed that Magdalena hadn't left an embroidery hoop upon her breakfast tray for her. Magdalena might have been a vampire, but at least she wasn't that cruel. She might suck your blood, but at least she won't force you to do embroidery. God forbid! Meike had stitched enough hateful curlicues to last a lifetime. Ying with the cosplay. Rin, I agree. Also welcome. Women, am I right? I have to pin that. That's well said. Multi-fandom. Though there was no hoop, and thank goodness for that, there were books. The shelves in Meike's new bedroom were full of them, old and dusty, with worn spines and crinkled pages, but quite readable. Meike perused their spines with the wide, curious eyes of a child, her unfamiliar gown brushing against the unfamiliar floor. Magdalena had told her last night that she might help herself to any of the books upon her shelves, but there were so many of them, it was hard to know where to start. I love how she's having these thoughts of herself and her eyebrows are moving like crazy. Wait, are they? I didn't even notice, actually. As there was nothing else for her to do, save sit and worry, Meike decided her time would be better occupied reading. She reached out for a promising book among Magdalena's collection, The Monk by Lewis. She settled herself upon the bed, among the thin covers, then opened the yellowing pages of the old tome. The pages within the leather-bound book crackled like autumn leaves, and Meike had to handle it carefully, lest she tore them. All the wonderful words were still there, however. I think with the H's you retain the R? I'm not sure. Unblemished by the passing years. Meike shifted, attempting to get comfortable as she could, in so unfamiliar an environment, and began to read. Environment. Meike spent the rest of the day abed, poring through the pages of Lewis's The Monk. It was a very gripping story full of lust, murder, and intrigue, featuring a monk so debauched he took Meike's mind off her immediate concerns. A monk so debauched. A monk. Like Heiter. Fririn. Heiter. Meike tore through the text, both delighted and disturbed by the twists and turns, though the scenes near the end, which occurred in a dingy dungeon, reminded Meike a touch too much of her plight to be fully immersive. Nothing makes one feral like a vow of chastity. Yeah. I think that makes sense. That's why Catholic schools are always so nuts, right? All right, we've overshot the Posh Brit Redeem, but thank you, Jade Ivy, for it. From now on, when Meike speaks, I will use the Posh Brit accent. Meike skimmed these pages, which detailed the virginal Agnes' suffering, and soon reached the conclusion wherein the wicked monk Ambrosio was tortured for his crimes. As Meike read, the sun began to sink outside. Shadows stretched along her bedroom floor. Ro, you had one meal and it was scones and tea, and like nobody's come into your fancy prison cell this whole time, bidding her to light the candle which rested upon her bedside table. I assume it's because vampires sleep in the day, right? This light was feeble, but it was enough to read by. Well, they don't sleep. They like become re-dead. Because if vampires are undead, then they die in the daytime, and they have to like, the way the legends and myths go, they have to have their burial dirt, right? Anyway, Meike continued to scan the pages of the text, holding the book close to her nose so as to devour it. So enraptured by Ambrosio's suffering, she did not hear the sound of a key turning in her bedroom door. She did hear the sound of her door creaking open, however, a low, guttural sound which split the silence like a moan. Meike raised her head, disoriented once more to find herself in Magdalena's home, in the dingy bedroom which Magdalena had prepared for her. Her hostess stood in the doorway. Oh, you guys like match now? You look kind of like a schoolgirl in comparison to the like shiny black pleather looking stuff that Lena's wearing. Her hostess stood in the doorway, shockingly fair and white in the gloaming. What is gloaming? I assume that's like the dark aura or something. Twilight or dusk. Okay, cool. Wow, I learned a new word. I learned many new words when I play heehee games. Returned perhaps to make good on her initial promises. Ah, the gloaming. I didn't know that word. Did she mean to kill Meike at last? Meike split the silence like a what, by the way? I can say it again for you. Like a moan. Meike had but a scant 10 pages left to read of Ambrosio's ill-fated adventures, yet she feared she would not see how his life would end. Imagine being like, okay, I know you're about to like suck me dry, but can I read the last 10 pages of this book before like it's just 10 pages? She feared she would not see how his life would end. Her own existence would come to a close before that of the vile monk. Meike supposed she could slip past Magdalena, then make a hasty retreat, but no, she had dawdled for too long. This is an actual book? The Monk by Lewis? The Monk of Romance, Matthew Gregory Lewis. Published when the French Revolution was associated with horror and terror. Oh my god, it's on Project Gutenberg. You can read it for free, guys. Here. Come get the free EPUB. Come one, come all. Let's read The Monk. A gothic novel follows Ambrosio, a virtuous monk who succumbs to forbidden desires when a mysterious figure infiltrates his monastery. His fall from grace spirals into a dark tale of lust, murder, and demonic pacts. Scandalous for its sexually explicit content and themes of rape and incest, it became the most controversial gothic novel of the 18th century, shocking readers while achieving immense popularity and influencing the horror genre. Bro, it's free. I think we should read it. I think we should all read it. Ying Book Club? Hell yeah, free book. I guess it's because it's old enough. It's like fully out of copyright, so it's just on Project Gutenberg now. I have so many Gutenberg EPUBs. Okay, anyway. I bought like a 2016 Kindle, like a really old Kindle. Someone's like old, dusty ass used Kindle. The battery life sucks. It has no like backlight or anything. It's just the e-ink display. And then I just loaded it up with Gutenberg EPUBs. Magdalena had already locked the door behind her and now surveyed Meike with a detached sort of amusement. Good evening to you. It feels like it's been a while since I last saw you. Did you enjoy the breakfast I brought to you? Oh, yes. Thank you for your kindness. I didn't expect you to be so considerate. You believed that I would let you starve? Magdalena tittered, her red eyes sharp and knowing. Please, I'm not that cruel. I have even brought more food for you. Look, it has been a while since breakfast, and I thought you might be hungry. Now that Magdalena mentioned it, Meike could see in her hands she held another tray, much like the one she had brought earlier. This tray was laden with another teapot and a teacup, and a plate upon which sat a meat pie, still steaming, and some vegetables. How? Are you like a good cook for some reason, even though you're a vampire? In this world, do vampires eat human food? Because in some reimaginings they do. Like they can. Gotta make sure your food ain't starving. That's fair. Maybe she learned because she had to like feed her prisoners. But this sounds like she's like a good cook and not just like throwing them raw potatoes or some shit. You know, okay, to be fair, you really should not eat raw potatoes. Those are often extremely toxic. I've been reading, really guzzling down books about herbs and toxins, like plants, like poisonous plants. Well, they're like plants that are medicinal, but in the wrong dosages become toxic. Fascinating genre of books. There's so many. Anyway, the food smelled surprisingly delicious in the derelict air of Meike's bedroom, and Meike was almost embarrassed at how hungry she was. She was human at some point, Loane. That's a good point. But that was like 100 years ago, you know? Like, if I didn't need to keep my cooking skills polished, I wouldn't have. So much work. What if she went out and brought Henny back? That would be really funny, actually. Why, she was almost salivating. Magdalena loped over to Meike, the tray in hand, then inclined her head to the bedside table. Would you mind moving that? I can't set the tray down otherwise. Oh, right. I'm sorry. Meike moved her breakfast tray onto her lap, to which Magdalena curtsied, playing once more at being a maid. Much obliged, young madame. I'll take that away soon, but first. Magdalena unburdened herself of the dinner tray and observed Meike, one hand resting upon her hip. Are you all right? Oh my god, this like mocking expression. That seems like an odd sort of question, don't you think? Do you believe anybody would be all right were they in my shoes? I hope you aren't wearing any shoes. Not in bed. They were filthy when you arrived here and quite caked in dirt. She takes it very literally. I mean, I imagine it's a joke, but still. I didn't mean it literally. I know, I was just teasing. I wish you wouldn't. Why? Are you afraid you might grow to appreciate our little spats? Hardly. I failed to see the need to converse with my captor, that's all. Oh, how fiery you are. I'd almost forgotten. You look so very wan, you know, and weary, too. The bags beneath your eyes are terrifying. They're almost black. Did you not get much sleep last night? I tried. I failed. I take it you had a lot on your mind. Yes, indeed. Not that this should come as a surprise. Were you thinking about your own fate? That and the fate of my parents, Henny too. You're still fussing about that silly maid of yours? Oh my god, imagine if she's jealous of Henny. I've no idea why you care so much. It's most unusual. None of the ladies I knew growing up were half so besotted with their servants. They treated them more like livestock than people. Ooh, Vampire Polly would be pretty crazy, Kami. I hope that's where this goes. Insectivore pets. Well-fed feeder insects are supposed to be the best. Oh, interesting. Huh. Henny's more than a maid to me. She's... Your friend? Yes, you said. How touching. Now, why don't you eat something? You must be hungry. I am, yes. But where did this food come from? You would have no need of it, surely. Oh, I have my ways. Magdalena smiled knowingly. There are merchants who sometimes travel through these woods, and quite fortuitously I happened to pass one by when I went for a walk in the early hours of this morning. This food I procured from them. You did not buy it? I did not need to. I can be very persuasive when I wish to be. It's one of the many perks of being a member of the noble undead. What? Do not tell me that you... Slaughtered him? Oh, no. I don't kill indiscriminately. I am not a brute, no matter what you might think of me, and my hunger has already been satiated for the present by last night's feast. I use nothing so nefarious as my powers of flattery. It is not so hard, you know, to bend men to your will. Not when you smile at them and you remember to bat your eyelashes. I had him prepare enough food to keep you going for a few days in a knapsack, plus some eggs and flour, the basic amenities, then bade him a fond farewell. He shall recall our meeting as little more than a dream. Does that satiate your curiosity? For the moment, I suppose. I mean, a strong implication that she can use some kind of, like, mind, if not control, like, suggestion, the power of suggestion, which then, you know, makes you wonder why she hasn't used it on Meike. Somebody's down bad! Compulsion, vampire trait. Yeah, exactly. Distinguished taste as a vampire, indeed. Good. Such a proper kidnapper. Ethical, an ethical kidnapper, Agunite. You have such a lot of questions, Meike. Not that I mind them. It's nice to meet a woman so inquisitive. Now do eat up. I am sure that your dear Henny would not want you starving yourself. Meike did not much like the thought of eating in front of Magdalena, but she supposed her captor had a point. It was foolish to go without sustenance, especially when it smelt so tantalizing. Meike set her dinner tray upon her lap, then began to eat. She dug into the meat pie with her knife and fork, which were darkly tarnished. Meike feared that the cutlery would somehow contaminate her food, but she was too hungry to fret overly long about the possibility. Meike popped a piece of meat pie into her mouth and chewed, and as she did, Magdalena watched. Magdalena's red eyes were wide, as though she was observing something very interesting. An exotic animal in a cage, perhaps, or a reaction between two volatile chemicals. Meike did not think the act of her eating was so very special, but it must have been different to Magdalena. Maybe she's into mukbangs. As a vampire, Magdalena had no need to partake in meat pies or vegetables. Was that why the simple act of Meike eating enticed her so? As Meike ate, horribly self-conscious of Magdalena's stare, what if she were to drop any food at her front? That's what you're worried about? It's not like, oh, she could lunge over and kill me at any moment. No, no, no. What if I embarrass myself in front of my potential murderer by dropping food on myself? Meike's genuinely, like, what is wrong with her? As Meike ate, horribly self-conscious, the vampire began to talk. It's been a long time since I was able to observe one of your kind going about your day-to-day life. On the rare occasions I am able to witness you, you are always in pain, screaming and crying and begging for your lives. That is rather entertaining in its own right, but sometimes I forget you're more than just prey. You have thoughts of your own, when they aren't being disturbed by physical discomfort. You eat food, and you read books, and you have friends. Dreams, too. It's hard to believe it now, but once I wasn't always so different to you. That was a very, very long time ago, though. Meike detected, while sipping her tea, a note of longing in Magdalena's voice. Her hostess's expression was inscrutable, but her ruby red eyes were soft, the pale lashes that framed them trembling as though from the force of her own emotions. Had Meike not been afraid of Magdalena, she might have sympathized with her. Joke's on you, the vampire thing's being stupid is sexy. Yeah, she's, what do we call it? Moron sexual. For a few brief moments, Magdalena appeared, for all the years she had lived and all the hurt she had caused, to be a young girl, younger even than Meike herself. Not for the first time, Meike wondered how old Magdalena had been when she had been turned. Her face was so smooth, so devoid of blemishes, she could not have been in her 20s. She would have been 18 or 19, if that. Oh, problematic age gap, but not in the way you think. It seemed a woefully young age to be consigned to an undying, eternal life of blood-sucking, which reminded Meike, aren't you going to bite me yet? You said that you would. Oh? Magdalena blinked, and when she did, the sentimentality which had once pooled in her irises dispersed. Newly amused, the young woman smiled and said, You said that yesterday, too, after I brought you to this chamber. Are you that desperate for me to drain for me to drain your blood? No, I'm not. Of course I don't want you to drain my blood. I'd really rather you didn't. But if you're to do it anyway, I fail to see why you should drag things out for so long. Unless you want to make me squirm? Making you squirm does not sound like too awful a proposition, really. Oh. Okay. You are quite charming when you're sitting, and even when you're eating. Ayo! Few women can pull that off, you know, but you manage it. You eat with such small, considered bites like a fairy. Oh, Yuri! I imagine you would be lovelier still when squirming, particularly if your face is as red as it is now. Or now, even. Full-on blushing. Woo! Splash art! Splash art drop! Magdalena leant in, grinning wickedly, her sharp incisors on prominent display, and curled her fingers beneath Meike's chin. Yep, this is the cover art for the game. Their faces were now scant centimeters apart, their noses almost brushing. Meike was suddenly, abashedly aware of her breath, which must have smelled of meat and pastry. Self-conscious, her face burned redder still, like a furnace, as though to entice Magdalena. Her heart hammered so very hard, she could feel it at the base of her throat, inside her skull. Could Magdalena hear it too? Why did she feel so unnerved? If she had only been afraid, that would have been understandable, but the sensation which curdled in the pit of Meike's stomach seemed comprised of more than that. Her brow began to sweat, as did her palms. Tremulous as a leaf, she found she could not meet Magdalena's gaze. Yes, you are lovely. Magdalena spoke, her voice appraising as she tipped Micah's head back, her eyes roving not over Micah's face but the slender column of her neck and the delicate blue veins which crisscrossed it. I would have no compunctions about sinking my teeth into that throat of yours. Your skin is so very warm. It is as though you're trying to entice me. You look utterly delectable. But I will abstain for now. You are so very lovely, it would seem like a waste almost to drain you right now. I would prefer to savor your demise like a fine wine. There is little sense in being overly hasty, and in any event I am not that desperate. I can abstain. I must. A muscle tightened in Magdalena's jaw and her eyes grew hard, just like two stones. Ooh. I have managed for long enough as it is. I would not wish to have all my efforts undone. What? Micah blinked at Magdalena, her eyes uncomprehending. Will you not drink my blood, then? No, I won't. Not tonight. Griffith? Who's Griffith? She must she? You must. I love how much you guys lasered in on that word. You may rest easy one night more, my dear. Oh, you may rest easy one night more, dear Micah. Your death is still a ways off. How far? Oh, oops. How far exactly? That depends. Upon? Oh, I don't know. My own mood and the movements of the moon, and how long you continue to entertain me, I suppose. I quite like the idea, you see, of having another woman in this castle I can speak to. Perhaps you can tell me about the books you've been reading when next we meet. I would love to hear your opinions. Though, of course, there isn't a single book in this castle I have not read at least thrice over myself. There isn't much to do, really, when one has been dead for as long as I have. So saying, Magdalena retrieved the tray from the floor laden with Micah's breakfast, things then straightened. She cast one last, almost longing look at Micah, who shuddered beneath it, her cheeks blushing anew like the skin of an apple. Griffith from Berserk. I'm not familiar with Berserk. Micah's like, damn it. Exactly why. Before, with what might have been a sigh or a sob, Magdalena turned. She unlocked the door with one hand, the keys dull and matte in the candlelight, then exited, taking the tray with her. Oh, back to this one. Do you see what we mean by, like, nothing is revealed and yet you see everything? Like, it's so sultry and erotic and yet fully covered. It's crazy. Crazy. And then the way the lines on the pulled sheet, like the highlight lines, pull your eyes' attention to one very specific spot. You can't help but like enjoy it, you know? Micah passed that night much as she had the previous one, namely by lying abed in the nightgown Magdalena had bequeathed her, trying and failing to sleep. Oh, the gay yearn. Isn't it a beautiful pea stabber? It's like there's like a chiaroscuro type like effect to it too, with the dark shadows in the corner also. So fun, so tasteful. Thoughts of her parents continued to play upon her mind, of her own fate, and more pressingly even than any of that of Henny. Micah wanted to believe that Henny at least had been able to escape. She wanted to believe that Henny would continue to live. She would go far from Magdalena's dreary home within the woods, and one day she would meet a nice man and they would marry and she would have children. Henny would be happy, whilst Micah would soon be reduced to a pallid, wizened corpse, drained of all its blood. I've actually always meant to figure out how to pronounce that. Wizened. But was such a fate so different from the one she would be afforded if she had wed Walter? If it wasn't covered, it would be less erotic. Exactly, Bruna. Exactly. Micah might, in a perverse way, have been better off as Magdalena's captive than she would Walter's bride. At least here in Magdalena's home, she had a bed to herself. It was an aged bed, yes, which creaked beneath her weight, but it was hers. There was no danger of Walter, or anybody else for that matter, joining her. If Micah was to die in this bed, then so be it. She would welcome it. If Henny was all right, then she did not care what happened to herself. Her own life was, and always had been, unimportant. Kind of a very similar MC to the It Gets So Lonely Here MC. If Micah slept poorly that night, then she was not the only one. Unbeknownst to Micah, Henny was finding it similarly hard to escape into the warm embrace of sleep. Henny's day had been a busy one, and still she was reeling from it all. Sitting upright in her own bed, Henny found herself turning the events of her own day over in her mind. had been in the very early hours of the morning that Henny had finally made her way to Augsburg, transported there by the kindly merchant she had met during her meanderings in the forest. Okay, I need a pee break, guys. Give me, let's say 90 seconds. Hold on, let me run a... Oh, I don't have my stream manager open. Okay, I'm gonna run a 90-second ad for the Twitchers. YouTube, you guys are spared. I'll just run a 1-minute ad is whatever. Okay, BRB. Is there really no danger of someone encroaching on your bed, Micah? The right question to ask, Kami. The fact that Lena let Henny go is very interesting. The strictly pragmatic thing to do would be to at least let Micah think Henny got away, but kill her. Exactly, exactly. It would mean keeping secrets from Micah. Exactly. The fact that she told the truth. And then told Micah that she told the truth. The music has been good, hasn't it? If Lena really let Henny go to preserve any integrity of a potential relationship? As in, she was kind of crushing on Micah to begin with? I buy that. Lena's risking her life for love. Yeah, but Micah like confronted her about that last time, where she was like, wouldn't it have been better for you to like not let Henny go? And then she was like, aren't you afraid that like they're gonna send people to hunt you down? And then Lena was like, I really don't think they're a threat to me. That was her defense. Okay. Basically she made it to Augsburg. Nice. I'm gonna do a quick steep. Henny had thanked the merchant profusely for his help and had then set about looking for Walter Gerhardt's home. Henny knew its location well, though she had only been there twice before. It was a large, imposing building, one of the finest in the vicinity, which could have rivaled the Von Essen home, but it was more modern in construction. It was not the sort of house one could forget in a hurry. The sun had begun to rise in increments as Henny walked through the Augsburg streets, and it turned into a marvelous shade of pinkish red as Henny arrived at Walter Gerhardt's doorstep. The sunrise was very beautiful, but Henny hadn't been afforded the time to gawp and stare. She had more important matters to attend to. Walter's maids had been beginning to stir when Henny set her knuckles to the door and rapped, anxious all the while that she would be taken for a beggar and turned away. Henny's clothes, once neatly pressed, had endured quite the battering during her wanderings in the woods. Her apron had been torn and flecked with dirt, and the soles of her shoes were encrusted with the stuff. Henny's cheeks and hands had been marred with cuts, and her fingernails had been rendered opaque with mud. I know, I'm really worried for Henny, but it's impressive that she made it out of the woods. Like, Lena was like, I'm not even sure she was gonna survive the woods. She had looked so very grimy, she would not have been surprised if Walter's servants had called the bailiffs on her. Her appearance had not been one which would inspire confidence nor invitations inside Walter's spacious drawing room. Henny had fretted that Walter's housekeeper might send her away in disgrace. Despite her fears, however, Henny had refused to move. It had been too important that she speak to Walter, that she speak to somebody. Had she known, as she stood there, that she needed somebody to listen to her? Henny had knocked and knocked, her knuckles sore against the wood, until she had finally heard the sound of oncoming footsteps. The door had opened, and before Henny stood Walter's housekeeper, a tall, austere woman called Gertrude Schreiber, whom Henny had met twice before. Henny had recognized Gertrude in all her straight blonde hair. For a housekeeper, she was unusually young, but it had taken Gertrude several moments longer to recognize Henny. She had appeared ready to slam the door in Henny's begrimed face, her expression one of revulsion, until Henny called out to her. "Oh, please don't be alarmed. I know what it looks like, but I'm not a beggar. It's me, Henrika, Lady Meike's maid. I've come here on her behalf to let you know that there's been an accident. A horrible accident. I need to speak to your master at once. It's very important. Please, let me have a word with Is it Herrn? Gerhardt." Henny's cries for help must have been effusive enough to thaw even Gertrude's icy exterior, for the housekeeper's expression had eventually softened. Gertrude promised in clipped tones that she would allow Henny to speak to her master, but not before she made herself presentable. Ooh, Gertrude's really pretty too. Shit. Should I give her a pretentious British accent too? "I don't care what it is you have been through. You might have been savaged by wolves in the woods for all I care. Whatever it is you have endured, I will not let you see my master like that. It would reflect poorly upon me as his housekeeper if I let all the riffraff off the streets into his home. You will need a bath first, at the very least. And we must do something about your clothes, too. Why, you look as though you've been dragged through a hedge backwards." Henny tried to impress upon Gertrude the importance of what it was she had to communicate. There are things more important than clothes! But Gertrude, being Gertrude, had none of it. Icily unimpressed by Henny's pleas, Gertrude had made it clear that Henny would have a bath at least before she would be allowed within spitting distance of her master. "This is a great privilege, you know. Hot water is a rare commodity. My own girls are not often afforded this luxury. You ought to be grateful." Henny was grateful. She supposed that Gertrude had allowed her into the Gerhardt home at all, but she had been less so at her insistence that her news could wait until all the dirt had been scrubbed from between her fingers and toes. Henny had known full well while she bathed that Meike could have been languishing in a prison cell, or worse still, being put to death. It had taken almost 2 hours before... 2 hours before Gertrude was satisfied by Henny's appearance, at which point the sun had risen and the last vestiges of the night had been swept away. Henny had not been permitted a chance to sleep throughout the night, save for the brief spell where she had been unconscious in Magdalena's cell. Though neater after her bath, her skin washed free of filth and her body shrouded in a clean uniform identical to the one which Walter's serving drudges wore, Henny still felt exhausted to the point of delirium. Competing for attention with both a World Cup game and the Digital Circus finale premiere. Oops. Yeah. Henny had been so tired she had feared she would collapse before she was able to properly explain to Walter the dangers his fiancée had found herself in. But Henny had known that she had to try. "Oh! Sorry, guys. I'm sorry, I guess we were right. He is hot." Damn. Well, what's a man to do? Oh no. Oh no, indeed. All we saw was the bottom of his chin before, and now it's like, oh, okay. Well, he's dripped the fuck. I mean, bro is rich, right? Makes sense. Hot, but not my type. Yeah, fair. I agree. And why you're right. Maybe it's just like, even all the maids are really hot, then that's I guess is the art style, man. Everyone is hot. It had been a little after 9 o'clock that Henny had been permitted entry to Walter's Gerhardt's study, wherein she had found the master of the manor cleanly shaven and sipping a cup of tea. Walter had seemed surprised to see Henny and had regarded her initially with some confusion. "Goodness me, I did not think when Gertrude said I had a visitor that it would be you. You are how do you pronounce that? Henrika, correct? My Meike's maid." "My Meike? A certain vampire would like to contest your possessive." Henny had not liked the way that Walter had said, "My Meike." Oh, you and me both, Henny. You and me both. The wedding had yet to be held, and now perhaps it never would be, but she had swallowed her distaste regardless. Blue, black, and silver is such an elite color combo for formal wear. I agree. She'd always been trying to tell Meike, after all, that she should be happy at her future wedding to Walter. Walter was a good man, Henny had told herself. A gentleman, despite his lowly origins. Oh, he's like a rags to riches type. He had been born from nothing, and with the series of shrewd investments had built himself an empire. He cared for Meike. The possessive manner in which he spoke of her proved it, and he would surely rush to her side once he knew of her plight. Wow, this really is, Beauty and the Beast coded, right? That had been Henny's hope, at least, as she stood in Walter's study. "Yes, that is right, Herr Gerhardt. I'm Henrike. I'm flattered that a great man such as you remembers a lowly maid like me." But of course I remember you. We've not been afforded the opportunity to speak, but you and my Meike are as thick as thieves. One can scarcely be seen without the other. In that sense, you're very like a pair of conjoined twins. You could be a modern medical marvel, almost. You seem annoying, Walter. Walter had laughed at this, a sound which had seemed rather inappropriate to Henny after she had endured so many horrors the night prior. At least he's a working man. You know what? That's fair. Frau? Thank you. Frau. Walter had not yet known, of course, about the bandits and the bloody violence they had wrought and Magdalena. This dude is dressed like that in his own house? I mean, rich people, man. But Henny thought he could at least have looked concerned that his fiancée, who had been supposed to visit him the day prior, was nowhere in evidence. Did he not care that Meike had vanished, seemingly into thin air? Perhaps he'd consoled himself, as all men of great import do, that nothing had gone wrong, that nothing could go wrong, given his vast riches. He must have reassured himself the night prior that Meike's carriage had been waylaid by some innocent purpose, perhaps a faulty wheel or a need for new horses. He had not, after all, been worrying of Meike and her welfare. He did not care. Speaking of which, Walter had leaned forwards in his chair, his laughter ceasing, to examine Henny with a newfound degree of thought. I do not see your twin with you right now. Is my lovely Meike not in your company? Oh, it just froze up a little. Hold on. Why is it glitching? Okay. About that. Oh, don't tell me she fell sick on the journey here. That would be truly heartbreaking. I'd hate to think of my dear fiancé convalescing in some miserable inn on the roadside. No, that isn't quite it. You see... Then she's not sick? Where the devil is she, then? Don't tell me she's having cold feet. Did she send you here, Frau Henrique, to break my heart in her stead? Henrika? It seems unlike Meike, her being one of the fairest of her sex, but if her parents are having second thoughts... It isn't that either. Lady Meike is not sick, but I'm afraid she might be. And irreversibly so if you don't do nothing to save her. Oh, Herr Gerhardt, it's awful what happened. You'll hardly believe it. If you'd seen what I had seen, if you knew what I knew, then... Oh... It was horrible, it was. Simply horrible, like something from a nightmare. Henny, you might want to get to the point. We were traveling through the woods, Herr Gerhardt, the Von Essens and me, your Meike included, when we were set upon by bandits. They stormed the carriage and they demanded... I don't rightly remember, but they asked for all sorts. They asked for jewels, and when that weren't enough, they went after the gold, and when that weren't enough, they took out their blades, and... By Jove. Walter's face by this point had turned very pale, all traces of merriment summarily dispersed. They didn't harm my Meike, did they? They meant to, Herr Gerhardt, but they couldn't finish the job. They made short work of Lord and Lady Von Essen, and their coachman too, the poor bastard, but they didn't get their grubby hands on Lady Meike. I saw to that. I took her hand during the hubbub and led her out into the woods. We ran and we ran and we ran, but the bandits were fast and they gained on us. I feared all was lost, but then... Walter leaned closer still, almost driving his elbow into his half-drunk cup of Earl Grey as he did so. What happened, Frau Henrike? Surely you and Meike must have survived, else you would not be standing here now, looking shaken, I admit, but in one piece. One Piece mentioned. Please, tell me my Meike was all right. That is to say... Henny had thought of nothing save talking to Walter Gerhardt ever since her... Yeah, how do you explain? Yeah, so like there was a vampire since her flight from Magdalena's abode, but at this crucial moment she had found herself quite at a loss. How could she tell Walter Gerhardt of Magdalena? It sounded ridiculous, the sort of tale which could exist only within the pages of penny dreadfuls. Dracula was a well-known figure even among the literati who considered gothic horror beneath them, but he had no place in polite society. One did not simply discuss vampires out in the open, in oak-paneled studies such as Walter's, not to well-dressed, wealthy men who had made their fortunes in mundane affairs like the railways. So there's this hot undead lady. Henny did not know Walter particularly well, but she could tell from his clothes and his demeanor that he fancied himself a staunch rationalist. One does not simply walk into a vampire castle. No, sir. No, you bring pitchforks. It had been immediately obvious that such a man would never hold with vampires. Even Henny herself, being born to a superstitious mother who wore about her neck a lucky rabbit's foot, could scarcely credit what she had seen. It had been blatantly unbelievable. Oh my god, we just got a flurry of follows, guys. Virtual Lord, Astrid Max, Meryl LeMay, and Brown Eyes Maverick. Welcome all of you to chat. Welcome. Welcome to the flock, I should say. She would not have believed it were she in Walter's position, but she had no choice but to, after all she'd witnessed. She'd seen those bandits torn to pieces before her eyes, smelt their blood, and heard their screams. Their deaths had imprinted themselves upon her eyelids like a tableau. She saw it when she blinked, her thoughts steeped in crimson. How could she make Walter see what she had seen? What she had seen? What she had seen? How could she make him understand? Henny had feared it would be a tall order, particularly given her limited vocabulary. Meike had always been better at describing things than she, but she had known she had to try. As there was nothing else for it, Henny had forced herself to swallow down her anxiety. It had tasted, strangely enough, of cod liver oil, and begin her missive. She told Walter of the mysterious woman who had come to their rescue, who had pulverized the skulls and spines of the pursuing bandits as a child might crumple crepe paper. She told him of awakening in a darkened cell with only one window, of meeting Magdalena, and of the ultimatum Meike had struck with her. Henny had relayed a good deal of information to Walter, and as she had seen him shifting. Walter had examined her, not with fear, as she had hoped, but with something far harder to ascertain. Was it perplexity, perhaps? Or worse, pity? Henny had known, even before Walter spoke, that it was a lost cause. Convincing Walter of Meike's plight had been her only task, and she had failed. She had not been able to sway him. He had not believed her. "That is quite the tale, Frau Henrike." "No, it isn't a tale, it's true, I tell you, every last word of it. Lady Meike has been imprisoned by a vampire, and if I don't act, and quickly, she will be drained of all blood and will soon die. Yes, I did hear. That would be awful indeed, were it true, but it is true, Herr Gerhardt. I swear it's true on my own mam's life. I wouldn't tell such a great pack of fibs, not over something so important." "I can't imagine that you would, no. I know little of you, but I'm aware of your loyalty to my Meike. She trusts you with her life, or so I've gathered. More so than she trusts me. She flinches away from all of my caresses, but she isn't half so cold towards your affections." "You've been touching Meike?" "I think you should be taken out back and shot, dude." "Then surely you must be able to see that I'm being honest. This is a matter of life and death. My lady's very life is at stake." Persuasion check very much failed. Why? "Yes, indeed, I understand. Will you send out a search— oh, wrong voice. Will you send out a search party then? It isn't too late. Meike's life might still be spared if only you act." "I suppose it would be in your best interests to believe that, yes. Dum spiro spero, some kind of Latin bullshit and all that." "I beg your pardon?" What is he trying to imply? That, like, Henny abandoned Meike in the woods or something? "Oh, forgive me my bad habit. It's Latin. Cicero. It means, while I breathe, I hope. As you survived your ordeal, Frau Henrike, it would behove you to cling to the belief that the young Lady Von Essen might still live, but alas, it seems rather unlikely, don't you think, after all you have related?" "No, Herr Gerhardt! What I said is nothing but the truth. You have to believe me!" "And like I said, I do believe you. About the bandits, at least. Unfortunate though that is, it really is a bloody business. I can accept, however unwillingly, that this did indeed come to pass. It is not inconceivable that Lord and Lady Von Essen met their demise thus. Vita incerta mors certissima." I'm gonna kill you if you make me read more Latin, bro. "As for your talk of vampires, however, this is something I cannot accept. No sensible man could. What you have related would go down very well, I am certain, in the company of writers. They are careless, feckless sort, but it will hold no water with me. You must have hit your head, Frau Henrike, while running from those bandits. That or your fear has undone you, not that I blame you. You must have endured a good deal for a member of the fairer sex. Why, even most men, I fear, would have gone to pieces, circumstances being what they were. Your thoughts have been addled, your delusions." Walter had stressed this word, his fingers steepled together upon his escritoire. What is an escritoire? Escritoire. Oh, antique writing. Oh, you know those writing desks that have a panel that fold down? That's an escritoire. Oh, wow. Wow, thanks, Ebihime. Learning words. Kind of like how we were learning, like, epaulette, like the armor words in the last VN. About vampires are nothing more than a coping mechanism to soften the reality of the situation. Yeah, this vampire gonna steal your girl, Walter! You're about to get cooked! Well, I mean, they didn't get married. Sleepy Troll, thanks for the hydrate redeem. Cheers. Today I learned a lot, truly, Kami. Meike too must have perished. What? No! Herr Gerhardt, please! Henny had tried to appeal to Walter's sympathies, but in vain. One look at Walter's countenance, now closed off, had told Henny all she needed to know. This man may be hot, his personality ain't. Yeah, he seems like a whole ass, like, insufferable, like, vain, like, frat bro type. Walter had thought her quite insane. I think a spell of bed rest would do you some good, Frau Henrike. Though you are not one of my servants, I am not so very unkind that I would cast you out onto the streets. You have witnessed horrors I can only guess at, and I'm very sorry for your loss. You may remain here if you wish, for as long as you feel you need to. Get some rest and try to calm down. I will summon a physician to look over you in the meantime to see if anything is awry. I suppose I also ought to summon the police once you've had a chance to rest, so you might give them an account of what you witnessed in the woods. They will be very interested in the fates of Lord and Lady Von Essen, and of my Meike too. I would advise you against telling them all of this malarkey about vampires, however. I fear they may be less understanding than I, and you may be hauled to an asylum for your troubles. I would not want you to be incinerated, Frau Henrike, and I doubt my Meike would want that either. It is a miracle you were able to escape with your life. Do not waste it. Remember, I'm gonna fucking slit your throat, bitch. O quam cito transit gloria mundi. Fuck you, bitch. Now you're I'm not even gonna look that up. Fuck you and your fuck-ass Latin. Now you are dismissed. Gertrude will show you to your new lodgings if you will be so kind. Yes, Herr Gerhardt. Right away, sir. Gertrude, who had been standing in one corner of Walter's study as unobtrusive as a houseplant, made to escort Henny to the servants' quarters. What an insufferable twat, for fucking real. Who's this ugly-ass motherfucker behind you? Henny had cast her gaze back to Walter before she left, her brow furrowed. Walter had begun to sip once more at his breakfast tea, as though he had not a care in the world. It's really interesting because we saw him and he was hot and we like folded like lawn chairs and then we like promptly unfolded. Like we were like, man, fuck this guy. This sight of Walter drinking his tea as if it were any other Monday morning had filled Henny with the sudden urge to take the teapot and append its contents all over Walter's officious-looking face. But, powerful though this urge was, Henny had abstained. Wait, look at how teeny tiny his waist is. He's got the full Dorito shape going here. That is pretty impressive. What would that accomplish? It would not help Meike. There's no vampire worth getting incinerated over. I guess so. Making an enemy of Walter Gerhardt would only serve to render Henny homeless, cast out onto the streets with nowhere else to turn. What if Henny, like, can't marshal any support and then goes back to the castle and then... and then vampire polycule, guys! Okay. I, have a new goal. Begrudgingly, Henny followed Gertrude, the door of Walter's study closing behind her with a thud. Henny had then spent the rest of the day convalescing in bed in the dingy servants' quarters. Walter was a man of his word, if nothing else, and he had summoned a physician later in the day to look Henny over. This physician gave Henny a brief examination, then declared she was physically fit, but mentally exhausted. If only he could keep his mouth shut, wasting the looks. I know, honestly, a lot of hot men are like this. I've like low-key given up on the hot ones, you know what I mean? They open their mouths and you're like, oh. Full ick. A day or two of bed rest would do her good. She has something of a fever and she seems distracted. The physician's report had been so mild, Henny would have laughed in his face. Was it any wonder she seemed distracted when, even now, her Meike, not Walter's, ooh, I like the way you think, Henny, was in Magdalena's thrall, languishing in all likelihood in a dungeon? I hope you were right, Kami. I hope you were right. That was a self-portrait of Joseph Turner, an English painter. Oh, that was like an actual painting? Wait, Aurora, why do you just like know this? Have you studied art history? Wow. Why are the hot men always the toxic ones? It's like they're either gay or the ones that are straight are the toxic ones. It's so hard to find a hot man who is not one of those things. Or they're like genderqueer, like they're not even really men. Okay. Henry wished to fly to Meike's side, but could not. She was more exhausted than she had anticipated, and lying down made it more so. Dazed and disoriented, Henny had begun to drift in and out of slumber. Her dreams were broken, yet largely featured Meike, her eyes wide, lips parted in a horrible scream. Henny has said multiple times she loves Meike and has literally thrown herself at the first opportunity to die for her. Exactly, Dapper. If this doesn't end in vampire polycule, I'm gonna, what's the English word? Brain keeps saying Salafad. Revolt? That feels right. Revolt. I'm gonna revolt. Does that feel right? I think that, yeah, I'm gonna revolt feels correct. Henny had slept so much during the day that when night fell, she had found herself unable to rest. Basically going, you are all cultured here? Walter's scullery maids, upon arriving in their quarters, had regarded Henny with some surprise. They fell upon her with curious questions, all buzzing excitedly, like so many moths drawn to a brightly flickering flame. Oh, riot. Riot is the phrasing. I'm gonna riot. Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay. Where are you from? The girls asked, and when did you arrive here, and how long will you be here? Henny had been in no fit state to answer these questions, however. She had been almost relieved when the sour-faced Gertrude came to scold her underlings for their rowdy misconduct. Why is Gertrude so pretty? Can you join the vampire polycule too? I would do leave Frau Henrika alone. She's had a trying series of days by all accounts, and she needs to rest. That is what Herr Gerhardt has decreed, and I will not have any of you naughty girls disobeying his orders. Now stop with your silly chatter. I doubt Frau Henrika much wants to listen to you, and your friendly overtures are all in vain. She is not one of our servants, and I doubt she will be staying here much longer. Gertrude's stern address seemed to do the trick, for the maids kept a wide berth from Henny throughout the night. They talked among themselves and played cards, and only occasionally did they glance to look at her, curious no doubt about these trying days Henny had endured. If they gather enough women for the polycule, they could masquerade as a convent. You're so right, Dapper. Wait. Somebody should write that novel. I want a new gothic horror vampire novel about a bunch of maids in a convent where actually they're all vampires. Wait, a Vampire the Masquerade campaign, tabletop RPG campaign, but it's like a so-called convent of lady vampires? Dapper, your brain is massive. Someone write this down. Okay. The maids had eventually begun to yawn, and at 10 o'clock they took to their beds, snuffling snores and creaking bed frames soon filling the room. Oh, you reverse image searched it, Aurora. Okay, perfect. Looks like you need to start DMing. I feel like Vampire the Masquerade is not as technically difficult to DM as D&D. I feel like I could do it. Yeah, maybe. Okay. The 6 scullery maids in Walter's employ all slept, but Henny found she could not. Restless and agitated, Henny now found herself standing by the window. Suddenly feeling claustrophobic, she unlatched it. Then she let her arms rest upon the sill and looked out onto the streets. The sky outside was black as pitch and scattered with stars, the moon round and full. The moonlight played against Henny's cheek, turning it paler than it already was, while the cool breeze caressed her hair. 2 new VNs we need, Yuri Sports Ball and Vampire Non-Yuri. Precisely, Aurora. Glad you're taking notes. VTM is definitely much simpler than 5e. Exactly, because it's so much more story focused, precisely. And I think it's more like sandbox friendly also. Like as the DM, you don't have to have invented the full story. You can kind of, I think that's why I've been enjoying the City Council of Darkness campaign so much. Because they don't even know where it's going, and you can really tell. And it's like chaotic in the best possible way. And the fact that I'm watching City Council of Darkness at the same time as I'm watching Fantasy High is like so fucking funny. Because in Fantasy High, they're like a bunch of like virginal teenage children, right? Like really innocent. And then in City Council of Darkness, they're just like the most debauched, fucked in the head, like really messed up vampire freaks. Like HJ being played by Ali at the same time as they're playing the fucking like good kid paladin who are they like an oathbreaker paladin at this point? I'm not sure, but they like started as this like very godly paladin type. So funny to see it side by side. The whiplash is crazy. City Council of Darkness has been going really well. I like the first episode was kind of, the first 2 episodes were like a little slow, and then it really picks up in chaos factor. So it's really fun. And like learning a new game system along with them, because before this I was not acquainted with Vampire the Masquerade. So anyway, one of the maids who slept closest to the window, Agnes, Henny thought her name was, stirred in her sleep, perhaps disturbed by the open window. Her eyelids, however, did not flutter. Henny afforded the girl only a brief glance before returning her gaze once more to the night sky. Somewhere out there, sequestered away in the woods, was Meike. Henny was certain that Meike lived still, and that as surely as Henny was thinking of her friend was thinking of her. Don't worry, Meike. Henny murmured this under her breath so as not to wake Walter's scullery maids, her face turned to the cold. I've not forgotten you. I never will. I'll find a way to rescue you, with or without Herr Gerhardt's help. You don't need him, not when you have me. Ooh. I hope we do get the polycule. You know, I'm starting to think that you might have been right about him. Here, Henny allowed herself to smile, though the situation was not at all that funny. Yeah, exactly. Cuts to Meike thinking about Lena. Oh no, that would be horrible, why? He isn't a worthy husband for you, and I don't give a damn that he can speak Latin. I think it counts against him, actually. It's like if somebody puts their, like, Myers-Briggs type in their dating profile, they're like, I'm an ENFP. Fucking left swipe, bitch. There are many, many other qualities I'd rather have in a man. You deserve much better. Oh my god, or even worse, astrology sign. I'm sorry. If you get, like, what? Each of those dating profiles is, like, 50 characters, maybe 100. If you waste valuable real estate telling me you're fucking Myers-Briggs type, I swear to God. Get the fuck out. The next few days passed with such an intolerable slowness that Meike felt as though she had been imprisoned in Magdalena's abode for a small eternity. It was hard for Meike to know the precise length of her incarceration, for she had no calendar to consult. She did not even know what precise hour it was, the carriage clock in her dusty morgue of a bedroom being frozen for all perpetuity at 10 minutes past midday, or midnight. During these dreary days, Meike fell into something of a routine. She awoke with the chirping of the birds, when shafts of sunlight were beginning to sneak through gaps in her curtains, cutting golden grooves against the aged carpet. Upon waking, Meike would discover a tray left on her bedside, laden with tea and pastries. Her breakfast always came with a brief, imperative note written by Magdalena's now familiar hand. Eat. It's kind of sexy. I like terseness in a person. Meike, funny, coming from maybe the wordiest person you know. Meike consumed her breakfast, then set about her ablutions. Another word I don't know. The context cues say it's like food, I guess. Oh no, to clean refers to the ceremonial act of washing oneself, as in like a rite of purification. Okay. She washed her face in the basin and her hair, then changed from her nightgown into one of the many dresses Magdalena had kindly bequeathed to her. Here's my personality type and nothing about my personality. Exactly. Well, I mean, to be fair, they are telling us a lot about their personality by putting their personality type into the description. Like, that sure was a choice. It sure tells me a lot. So I'm going to leave now. After dressing, Meike would try the door handle, though with little hope. It was always locked. My husband saw a gamer in my dating profile and said, bet. We've been married for 2 months. Hell yeah, Sleepy Troll. Congrats. See, like, gamer tells me so much more about you than INFJ. Fuck you. Left with little else to do, Meike whiled away her days reading. She devoured book after book as a starving man might a plate of warm, nourishing pie. Nothing was off limits for Meike, from chilling horror tales to sweeping romances, historical accounts to travel guides, philosophical tracts to collections of poetry. Meike did not much care for what she read so long as it eased the drudgery of her waking hours. While reading, Meike was freed from her boredom, and worst of all, her worries about Henny and her looming fate which dwelt upon it. During the day, Meike's hostess was conspicuously absent, doubtless sleeping in her own chamber, protected from the sunlight. I wonder how much vampire fiction she has. I love how much shorter, like visibly, she is than Meike. It wasn't until the night fell that Magdalena put in an appearance in Meike's chamber, her hands laden with Meike's dinner. It makes sense also if you're turned at 18, like, women don't stop gaining height until like mid to late 20s. I grew an inch between my 20th birthday to my like 24-ish was when I noticed it. I went from 5'4" to 5'5", which is pretty crazy. Magdalena sat upon Meike's bed to observe her while she ate, and from time to time she would talk, her voice light and lilting and almost sweet. Magdalena asked Meike about the book she had been reading, and though Meike had been initially reluctant, she soon found herself responding. We'll make a new dating app profile where my bio will be only tea. Yeah. It'll be like, my favorite tea is 正山小种 unsmoked love song. Part of Meike feared if she did not talk, her vocal cords would begin to rust from disuse, much like the keyhole that sealed her windows shut. You stopped growing at 12? Oh no! I didn't even know that could happen. I thought like all women kept gaining height through their 20s. She needed some, or I should say AFABs, I guess. And then I guess if you're going through transition, it might even, like, do you think you could gain extra height if you started to transition pre or like potentially early post-puberty or during puberty, potentially? Like if you were FTM, hypothetically? Like if I had started taking fucking, I don't know, is it testosterone that you take? I assume it's testosterone plus some other things. I don't think testosterone affects height though, right? But maybe some of the other things might. I don't know. I'm 24 and like 5'4"-ish, and I don't think I've grown in quite a while. Oh, didn't notice any differences until I measured. And then I was like, well, that's a full inch taller than I was last time, which was like 4 years ago. She needed some opportunity to speak out loud, to assure herself that she was still alive despite all the odds. In time, too, Meike found that she was not speaking to Magdalena solely from a sense of obligation. Magdalena's company was not entirely unpleasant. When she tactfully chose not to remind Meike of her plans to eat her, that was. Magdalena had not spoken of drinking Meike's blood for several days, however. It seemed almost as though she had forgotten about it, content instead to play at being a hostess. Meike had once feared Magdalena, but as the days passed, her anxiety began to wane. It was hard work being on edge all the time. Magdalena was so unfailingly polite. Meike sometimes caught herself wondering whether they might have been friends had they met under other circumstances. Bruna's 5'10". You're so tall. Oh my god, you're like so tall. Sorry, I was just having like all the flashbacks of like the many times on Twitter where people are like chat needs to stop like hitting on their streamers. I'm like, you want to try streamer hitting on chat? Oh my god, 5'10". Tell me more. But then Meike would catch Magdalena's gaze and see once more how red her eyes were, as red as violence, and she would start. Magdalena had not killed her yet, but she surely would. Someday soon, perhaps. She would tire of talking about I actually don't know how to pronounce his name. Is it like Goethe? I've never tried. Goethe? Schlegel? Eckermann? I don't know. She would tire of talking about Goethe and Schlegel and Eckermann, and then she would show her true colors. I'm 5'9", which is 69 inches. Oh, must be nice to be. Perfect number. Actually, Ying, you're an exception to the rule. Usually most ladies stop growing between 16 to 20. I was told that a lot of people, like, you think you stop growing 16 to 20, and then, like, the science is wrong. That, like, more recent studies have shown that people sometimes gain an additional, like, little bit after 20 for women. There was like a thing that I saw. I don't know if it was like a paper, but I don't know if it's been replicated at all or anything. Chin grab! She would take Meike's jaw betwixt her gloved fingers, then bring her teeth to Meike's throat. Then she would bite, and she would drink. Meike's blood would be drained from her body until she turned cold, numb and still and insensible. How could they ever hope to be friends under such circumstances? I mean, can you not just turn her? Just turn her, dude. You want an eternal companion? Turn her. I guess in a way that's kind of like getting married. It's an eternal commitment, right? If you were to sire a vampire who I guess would be living in your castle, I guess you'd want to spend a certain amount of time to validate the idea that you actually do want to spend eternity with them. That's kind of romantic. I like that. They could not even be acquaintances. It was unthinkable that anything could develop between them. They were nothing but a captor and a captive, a jailer and a prisoner. Sounds like you're trying to talk yourself out of something, Meike. Meike was at Magdalena's mercy, but some dying idealization vibes. Truly, YY. Sometimes when Magdalena spoke to her, Meike thought she could detect something in her gaze which spoke not of bloodlust, but of loneliness. It was during times like these that Meike thought they mightn't have been so very dissimilar after all. You guys should, like, kiss already. I feel like one of the coolest things about vampire romances is the idea that, like, when you kiss the vampire, that they have to fight back all of their urges to eat you. Like, what is it about that kind of self-restraint that is so sexy? It was later that night that Magdalena paid a visit to Meike when the sun had set and the sky beyond Meike's bedroom window was black as pitch. Maybe she just wants to get bit. Yeah, maybe Meike's into it. You're right. Imagine turning someone into a vampire, but just being friends, randomly bumping into each other at the grocery store with their spouse. Oh, that's Isolde, the woman who bit me and turned me. My sire. Magdalena looked unusually apologetic as she let herself into Meike's room with a light shuffling of footsteps and the familiar click of the door which she locked behind her. After slipping the key into her pocket, she turned to face Meike and spoke. Oh, in your bedclothes. I assume something's gonna happen. I think you know why I'm here. I have put this off for much too long as it is, and now it is time to take from you what I want. Magdalena inhaled, then took a few steps forth, her red eyes heavy with the seriousness of the situation. I brought you here for a purpose. It is past time I fulfilled it. I must confess, however, that I do not feel good at all, good about treating such a lovely young woman so roughly. Typically, I pursue bandits and highwaymen, brigands whom deserve every iota of misfortune I inflict upon them. These are criminals, often petty crooks nobody would miss. I make the world a better place, or so I like to tell myself by disposing of them. Kind of a light Yagami. But I cannot tell myself the same in regards to you. This is a first for me, so forgive me if I am somewhat awkward. I've been unsure how exactly to proceed. But proceed, I must. She could keep her alive and just feed every couple of days. I think that would turn her, though, wouldn't it? I only hope you do not take it too personally. I have no genuine desire to harm you. I guess we don't know how vampires work in this universe. It's always like a little bit different in every telling. Then why do it? This question was so soft it seemed to lose its way in Maike's darkened bedchamber. Part of Maike doubted it would reach Magdalena's ears, and indeed it took the other woman a while to react, but react in time she did. I do it because I must. It is in my nature to cause others pain. Preying upon humans is simply what my kind must do if we wish to keep on living, or unliving, rather. Try not to worry overly, though, if you can help it. I'm not sadistic. I won't cause you any greater pain than I need to. And I won't kill you, either. Wait, really? There's more I wish to take from you yet, before I turn you into a corpse. Oh, so it really is just like a little snacky? You were allowed to just have a little snacky and you won't turn her and you won't kill her? Okay, cool. Magdalena drew back the curtains to better illuminate Maike's chamber with the thumbnail drop! With the moon's milky glow, then took a seat upon the edge of the bed. Oh my god, this art is truly so insanely gorgeous. The vampire reached for Maike's arm, her gloved fingers slicing through the darkness. Her digits soon seized about Maike's wrist, as firm and immovable as steel. Her grip was hard, yet she was surprisingly gentle when she turned Maike's arm upwards to reveal the white skin of her palm, her wrist. Maike had always been pale, yet she appeared even more so in the moonlight. Her skin was as smooth as the interior of a conch shell, and Magdalena sighed to see it. I'm not gonna kill you. Aw, really? Exactly what I want. You really are pretty. It almost seems a shame to mark your skin or sully it. But spoiling things is all I'm good for. At least you'll be able to hide your injuries beneath your sleeves come the morning's light. What? Maike looked at Magdalena, her expression uncomprehending. Magdalena was only inches apart from her, their faces so close Maike could see how Magdalena's eyelids trembled. Magdalena was devoid of all the self-righteous pomp with which she usually conducted herself. She seemed contrite, guilty as a young child caught out by an angry parent. Maike felt for her, but still she worried about her own fate. Did Magdalena mean to bite her? Surely she must. That was the whole reason behind her visit at so late an hour. I guess in Dracula, it was like in Bram Stoker's Dracula, you had to like be bitten by the vampire, and then as long as you were kept alive, it was fine. But the moment you like died, like over a certain amount of time, that's when you turned. So like maybe it's a time thing. Maike did not understand why Magdalena was examining her arm, however, like an antiquarian might inspect an old necklace. Aren't you, Maike swallowed. Aren't you going to drain my blood? Indeed, I am. Must I make my intention so plain? I fear your girlfriend is a little bit stupid in the head. Magdalena smiled, but her voice was dry when next she spoke. For all the books you read, your intelligence is nothing to boast about, Maike. Finally, somebody said it. I was like, when are we gonna admit Maike's a little dumb? I know her ears are so pretty, aren't they? I just thought I would clarify. I don't understand, though. What isn't there to understand? It's quite a simple process to comprehend, really. Observe. Magdalena reached for the table, then lifted a strange, silvery blade. Oh my god, you don't even, like, bite? You cut first? I just had kind of a cursed thought. Well, it's not that cursed. It's just weird. You know how when you have like a wine bottle, there's like a cork at the top and then there's foil over the cork. And you're supposed to cut the foil off and then puncture the cork with the corkscrew. I categorically don't do that because it feels like an extraneous step. Like, why would you bother if you could just directly corkscrew in through the foil, pull the whole cork out, and it like ruptures the foil on its way out, and then you can just rip the foil off, right? So it's kind of like that. Like by cutting first and then biting to suck, that's kind of like cutting the foil and then corkscrewing. Silver, I'm glad you're enjoying the voice. Welcome back to Twitch. A proper lady doesn't eat with her hands. Oh, teeth? Yeah, I just brute force it. Like, why add extra steps, you know? Why not just... Meike supposed she must have kept it upon her as an assassin might, the blade sharp and silver in the moonlight. Stephanie didn't even make them have sharp teeth. They just gnashed with their flat teeth. Oh, I didn't know they didn't have sharp teeth in Twilight. I thought they did. Maybe she's really bad at aiming. Magdalena pressed the blade of the knife to the inside of Meike's arm, a few inches below the bend of her elbow, then said, I will cut you with this knife, and you will bleed. Then I will collect your blood in a dish I brought with me for this very purpose. Oh my god, not even like lips to arm? Like... It is an unusual ritual, yes, but it is not complicated. Surely a well-bred young woman like yourself can comprehend it? I understand, but... Meike gasps, her breath catching in her throat as Magdalena pressed the knife's edge to her skin. Magdalena had not pressed hard enough to lacerate her skin, not yet, at least, but the knife was hard and unyielding, and the promise of pain made Meike shiver. This is so much edging, yeah. I thought you would be biting me, not cutting me. Meike looked at Magdalena's mouth. Her fangs were obscured, hidden behind her pursed lips, but Meike had seen them often enough to know how sharp they were. Yeah. What about the neck biting she's been, like, basically begging for? Precisely. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, where Dracula said he does not suck blood out of anyone, he just gently bites and licks the blood. Like a cat. That's really funny. Magdalena's teeth had been made to rend human flesh. Why, then, would she resort to a knife? It seemed an unnecessary layer of obfuscation to the act of bloodletting. That's exactly what I'm saying, right? Like, just go straight for the cork. Why cut the foil off first? That's dumb. Is this a comedy game, says Verdigris. I know, look at Meike's face, for real. Perhaps it was to assuage Magdalena's guilt about what she was about to do, or perhaps... My. Magdalena smiled, her carmine lips splitting to reveal her wickedly sharp incisors. What is this, Meike? Do you wish me to bite you? No, that isn't it. I don't wish it, of course I don't, but I thought that was what vampires were supposed to do. Is it not what you are known for? I suppose we are, in all the folk stories and the legends, but I prefer to take a more pragmatic approach. Pragmatic? Magdalena nodded. It's much more practical to cut you. The wound will be easier to clean, and it will heal more quickly. It will be less painful, too. You will thank me for my reticence, I'm sure, when we're finished here. What, put your mouth just on the champagne? Yeah. Puncture the cork directly. Skip cutting the foil off, and then drink straight from the bottle. That's the metaphor here, guys. If I were to sink my fangs into you, I fear I wouldn't be able to stop myself. Your blood smells so very sweet, I would be obliged to suck you dry. I would like things to last just a touch longer than that. Also, I guess if you slash and then like drain blood and then drink from the blood, technically if the fangs don't puncture, would it mean that you like technically wouldn't be turning them, right? Because you would have to bite somebody to turn them. So I guess that also answers that question of like, wouldn't you turn her? You don't wish to be drained of all you have in one single session, do you? All of the build-up would be for naught then. Meike shook her head, shivering. This image does things to me. I know, right, Dapper? I know, right? I think it's in Meike's face, honestly. And then the like super gentle look on Lena's. Oh, what an atmosphere. I don't wish to be drained at all. I know you don't. I don't much blame you either. Here, Magdalena's good humor seemed to fail her. She sighed, her eyes half-lidded, the frown... Oh! Wait, why is it going so fast? Go... No, 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 no. She sighed, this is where we stopped, right? Her eyes half-lidded, the frown sliding from her face like melting snow come the springtime. Okay, we're good. But I have no choice, as I said. This is what I must do as a vampire. I might defy our legends in some regards. I am not wholly typical of my kind, but I am still a monster in the end. Gonna give her an orange juice and a cookie after like it's a blood drive. Now sit still and do try not to squirm. I have no desire to make this more painful than it needs to be. Blushing and turning away, so gentle and loving. I know it's so intimate, Dapper, I agree. Magdalena angled her hand so as to press the blade of the knife more snugly to Maika's skin. Inhale deeply now. Oh my god, it really is like a blood drive. Do you need like a little squeeze foam thing? Inhale, oh. Inhale deeply now. One big breath. Yes, just like that. There's a good girl. This will be over before you know it. Magdalena was as good as her word, too. Maike had scarce inhaled, drinking in a lungful of stagnant air when Magdalena made her move. She drew the knife across the inside of Maika's arm, the blade sinking deep into her skin. If both were completely naked, it would not hit as hard. I strongly agree. We got a bleeder! Triple Tauruses remembers all the times I've told the story about me donating blood. Maike exhaled, shocked, as a sharp, stinging sensation coursed through her. It really is like, it's like a thinly veiled allegory for like your first time. Like your sexual first time. The way the scene is narrated. It was painful, yes, but not so painful as she had feared. Magdalena had been quick about her incision and precise with it, her motions as well practiced as a surgeon's. Sorry, I think something's going on in the organizer chat. I'm gonna check it really quick. Oh no, nothing time sensitive. We're good. Okay. That's vampires, baby! Yep, 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 yep! Depositing the knife upon Maika's bedside, the blade of which was tarnished with spilled blood, Magdalena then set a bowl beneath Maika's arm to collect her ill-gotten goods. And then I think the fact that, like, Lena is being written, like, the way she's like, I am not like my kind, like, I go about this in different ways, it may not be how most vampires do this, like, is, I think, a tight allegory for lesbianism. Or at least, like, you know, WLW, like, like, it's like it's narrated like it's the, you know, the way you would describe like a sexual first time encounter, but then with the add-ons of it being, yeah, exactly, like it's a deeply sapphic first time scene. Really interesting. I quite like that. The bowl was a shallow one, and soon it was half full with blood, thick and viscous, and redder even than Magdalena's eyes. Maike watched on as Magdalena drained her breath caught in her throat. She could feel the pain. By God, it stung. Yet it happened so suddenly she scarcely registered it. She felt no sense of loss as Magdalena drained her, nor any real wrongdoing. She was shocked, instead, too stunned to know how she ought to respond. Goodness. Magdalena sighed as she observed Maike's blood, which was pooled in the bottom of the bowl like a profane offering to a pagan god. Yeah, that's true. I should really read / watch Carmilla at this point. Your blood is so very red, Maike. And it is so very pretty. I suppose I could try a drop or two of it myself to see whether it tastes as good as it looks. But no, I must abstain. Wait, what? What do you mean? Why? Like, you're not gonna drink it? Wait, then what? That ought to be enough. For tonight, at least. You bled well for me, Maike, and you bore your burden with the grace one might expect of a true noblewoman. You did not even scream, though I saw you wince. I ought to commend you for that. Yeah, I know the tension is crazy. She's not gonna go for the source. Oh, okay. Like, she'll drink from the bowl, not from the arm. Okay. Men stronger than you have screamed when faced with far less. Magdalena set the bowl aside, along with the dirtied knife, then drew her cloak protectively around her slender shoulders. Maike was afraid for a few moments that Magdalena meant to leave her already, her task fulfilled, but no. Wait, you were afraid she was gonna dip? You wanted to hang out? Magdalena rose, once again drawing shut the curtains, almost as if she could not bear to let the moon witness what pain she had wrought upon Meike. This completed, she turned her attention to the basin which rested upon the writing desk. The basin was filled with water from earlier that morning, which Meike had used to wash her face, though it was cold by now. The clothes are white. She doesn't want to get messy. Yeah! Magdalena drew from her pocket a handkerchief, which she dipped in the cool water in the basin. Then she turned back to Meike and introduced the damp cloth to Meike's cut. May 2.5 Studios continue to have good writing for their games. Yeah, I don't know how involved they were in this one, because it says it's by heehee. So I don't know if 2.5 Studios just like published it for heehee, or if they if it was a collaboration. I didn't fully check the credits. I can check them right now, actually. 2.5 Studios, Cage of Roses. Wow, 95k words. Oh, it's a kinetic story with no choices and branches. I fully missed that. Optional R18 patch with bonus sexual content. A cute maid! How cute. It says developer heehee, publisher 2.5 Studios. So I was correct. Yeah. How am I supposed to read that, bro? Oh, boy. Ah. Meike hissed to feel the fabric against her wound, and Magdalena replied with a small smile. I'm sorry, Meike. I know this hurts, but please try to bear it. It's for your own good. It would not do if your wound were to be infected. Magdalena dabbed at Meike's wound as carefully as a nurse might, her head bowed. Meike watched her work, frowning, her skin tingling both at the pain and at the unusual gentleness with which Magdalena was displaying. She did not know how Magdalena could touch her so carefully when, only a few moments prior, she had slid the blade of a knife into her flesh. She just wants her to text tomorrow. Date with Death 2? I haven't played the demo yet, but I'm really excited. Yeah. I think I played a Date with Death before I started multi-streaming to YouTube. So I might repost those VODs on this channel so you guys can have those VODs next to each other. It was an awful contradiction, one Meike did not understand at all. It's already published. My A Date with Death playthrough is published on the old VODs channel that I've since abandoned because I've started multi-streaming. But it's still there. It's there. I might move it is all. Why? Meike gasped while her cut stung. Then she tried again, her voice barely more than a whisper. Why are you acting so kindly? It seems unusual for a vampire. It is unusual for a vampire, but I never professed to being like the majority of my kin. I know, A Date with Death was such a ride. It was so well written. Oh, the second one has voice acting. Yeah, I think I saw that. I saw was it a VTuber they got to do the voice acting? I went and listened to his voice and I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. But I don't know who voices, maybe MC isn't voiced, or maybe you can choose from a list of voices. I don't know, because it was so customizable in the last one. I hope I have not proven to be too much of a disappointment. I'm not disappointed, really. Oh, good. I was starting to worry. I thought that you might prefer something more traditional. A spell in the dungeon, perhaps, and a few broken bones. But I am confused. You say you don't wish to harm me, but you do so regardless. It seems rather contradictory. Yes, you would be right there. It is a contradiction. But what can I do? My whole existence hinges upon such fallacies and logic. I am dead, yet I am also alive. I am a monster, but I still possess feelings. And, though I must drink blood to survive, I do not truly wish to harm innocents, least of all you. Casper has a voice now. Oh! Second one doesn't have a VA. The first VN does. Oh, okay. I'm just really excited to see more of, I forgot what number he had, but the other guy that we met in the underworld. The one who wore a harness and had like a wolf cut looking haircut. I was so down bad for him. Casper's really cute and I love a brat, don't get me wrong. But I'm not really a self-inserter, right? So to me it was Casper and MC had they had such strong chemistry. And I was like, that's great. And I want the other one. I want that one. 5012, yeah. The boss, question mark. So sexy. Oh my god! And then they released more art for him. Were you? Oh, sorry. I'm sweating a little just thinking about it. Beautiful shoulders. I really like neck and shoulder area is like my zone, you know what I mean? Oh, Jesus. Goodness. It was brat x brat. Yeah, it was really, really good brat x brat. Yeah, you can romance 5012 in the second one. Exactly, that's why I'm so excited for the sequel. Okay, anyways, let's return. It's quite the conundrum. I've had oops, you don't get the accent. It's quite the conundrum. I've had over a century to dwell upon it, but I doubt you will have the same luxury. You humans aren't particularly durable. Meike certainly felt delicate as Magdalena cleaned her. Magdalena was being gentle, yet the brush of her fingertips made her shudder regardless. She simply could not help herself. Once satisfied that the bleeding had stopped, Magdalena drew back and deposited her handkerchief back in her pocket. Retrieving both the knife and the bowl of Meike's blood, which she had laid to rest upon her bedside table, she turned to the door. Hold on. You're allowed to watch us eat, but we can't watch you eat? I demand you sit your ass down and drink that blood. Drink my blood in front of me. This is unfair. I should get a mukbang too, okay? Damn. That blush was unhinged. Lena really said, I am vast, I contain multitudes. Aren't we all? Now I must depart. Sweet dreams, my dear Meike. My dear Meike! I like it. I like it very much. If you are able to sleep, of course, after the excitement of the night. I hope you are able to, despite my rudeness. Classic track. Lena, what are we? I wish I could say this would be the last time I would demand so much of you, but... Somberly, Magdalena sighed. I do not want to lie to you or to give you false hope. That would be a cruelty not even I could perform without flinching. I mean, can you not just go out and like hunt more bandits or something, you know? Like, it was with this final remark that Magdalena finally departed. You know what you should do is go kidnap like a bunch more, like a lot more fair maidens, right? Hear me out. I feel like this is a solid business plan. You're a powerful vampire. Like, you go out there, grab a bunch of women, blame the bandits for them going missing, bring them home, and then they all take turns giving you a bowl full of blood once in a while. Like, the human body would be capable of keeping up with that if you just had like enough people, but maybe keeping everyone like fed and housed is also a lot of work. It'd be like tending to a flock. Yeah, a blood harem. Exactly. So it's I think it makes sense. It's like, then she doesn't have to go out and hunt bandits, you know? Like, that seems like a lot of work, even for a vampire. I think it makes sense. Or even if it's just like 2 or 3 fair maidens on hand to have a little snack now and again, and then the real meals are the bandits outside, right? Blood tax. Yeah, it's like a tithe to your lord liege, the local vampire. Doesn't it make sense? I think it makes sense. That does seem like a lot of work. But if it's just like a few people and she's kind of lonely, like, wouldn't you end up with your own little, you know, coterie, and then you could have a nice social life also? Like, I think it's a win-win. Meike watched from her bed, cradling her arm in her hand as she left the room, the door closing behind her with a thud. Breaking! Local vampire discovers agriculture! Precisely, Dapper! You're picking up what I'm putting down. Meike listened as Magdalena's footsteps, feather light, receded from beyond her bedroom door, then vanished altogether. Meike supposed she should have felt relieved now that Magdalena had gone, but it was quite the opposite. Her inner arm still stung, and her mind raced full of frantic thoughts. Her room felt quieter after Magdalena's departure, and for some reason it felt far, far lonelier. And it's got a bunch of hennies. Certain gray areas we need to cross, and this is one of them. Creates a weakness in InfoSec. That is fair, I would agree. That is fair. While Meike convalesced that night, wearied by Magdalena's visit, Magdalena herself could be found in a darkened bedchamber, sitting at the bedside of a shadowy figure. What? Oh, so it really wasn't for herself. She really is abstaining. When she said I would be tempted to drink a few for myself, but I mustn't, she meant it. There's like somebody you're nursing? This is unexpected. A third girlfriend. Yeah. Vampire polycule real? Oh. I think The blood thickens, indeed. The grim story you talked about recently was about the people that regrow limbs. Oh, no, that wasn't a grim story. That was a peculiar, the Miss Peregrine. Oh, hold on, what's it called? Peculiar. Tales of the Peculiar. Ransom Riggs. Tales of the Peculiar. Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series has like a spin-off / companion book called Tales of the Peculiar. That's like in the format of like fairy tales. Are they making this story using Ying's brain? What the heck is that? Zill, what you're witnessing is the collective Yuri hive mind. She hasn't asked for our consent yet. Well, you know, we'll get there. Okay, cool. Magdalena held a bowl in both hands, which was full of viscous, sticky liquid. Dark red in actuality, but rendered almost black in the darkness. Here you are, my dear. I brought this for you. I do hope it is to your liking. It should be different from the blood of bandits, at least. The woman who I took it from is very sweet. I would not be surprised if her blood is similarly sumptuous. You'll like it, I'm sure of that. I know you're hard to please, but not even you can turn your nose up at this. Please. Magdalena's voice wavered. She sighed, and sadly, she looked away. Drink it and be satisfied. I can't give you more than this. Not for tonight, at least. I fear I might have taken too much from her already. I don't want to hurt her, but... Magdalena inhaled. Her eyes, which were accustomed to the dark, narrowed, her red pupils roving over those of her charge. I would do it, you know? For your sake. I would do anything for you. You mean the world to me. I just wish... Oh, I wish... Magdalena shivered as her beloved began to sup from the bowl she offered, their head bowed, lips parted like a hungry animal. I just wish it didn't have to be this way. Who is it? Who is it? Show me! I hope it's not a man. How, it can't be a man. This is a Yuri Vampire VN. Oh god, YouTube literally just crashed. Is the stream okay? Hold on, let me check. Is she secretly straight? Says August. I don't think so, guys. I highly doubt it. Could be her sire, potentially. Potentially, it's true. Talking about a lesbian harem. Now we're all emotional and shit. Yeah, exactly. I want the vampire polycule to come true, and it's like with every indication becoming more and more true. Okay, Meike had suffered in the culmination of the past 2 weeks, but she was not unique in this. Oh, I hear Sapporo screaming. Hi. Actually, I got so absorbed I couldn't. We're already almost 2.5 hours into stream. I might need to end. Okay. I guess this is a pretty good, like, cliffhanger to end on. Like, oh my god, who was that? If she's secretly straight, the Infernal will riot. Sire is possible. It would explain some things. I agree. I think my chat window and my stream monitor crashed, but I think the stream itself is okay. YouTube stream looks okay. Sapporo, you know if you come at me when I stream, you get picked up. You hate being picked up. You hate being picked up and shown to chat, but I will do it. I will do it to you. You better watch out. You better watch out, Sapporo. All right. She's like, oh, she's run. She smelled it. I don't know how she figured it out. Are you gonna make me go play this game just to find out? Don't leave me with this doubt in mind. She ran away and then came back. Sapporo, you wanna come here? You wanna come here? Sapporo, you wanna come here? You wanna come here? Up she comes. You guys can actually see her this time. Hi. The nice thing about an ultra wide chair is that there's a room for Sapporo to come sit with me. I should tilt the camera down more, but I might, if I lean too far out, she's gonna leave me. Can you see her? Oh damn, why won't it stay? Sapporo! Sapporo, finally chat can see you! Sapporo! Hi, Sapporo. She's so comfy. Car reveal. There's so much fur floating through the air as I'm patting her. She's like shedding like a motherfucker. Sapporo! Sapporo, you have so many fans. You're so popular. You're so popular, Sapporo. Wow. Oh, God. I don't know if you guys can see that. Covered in fur. Oh no. The fur on the mic, yeah. It's everywhere. I need to brush her after this. I'm sneezing just looking at it. Do you know I have really bad cat allergies? And then I just have to wipe it on my legs for now, I guess. I'll just dust myself off. I had really bad cat allergies before, and the longer I've had Sapporo, the least it's like I exposure therapy, I guess. Like I adjusted to it. It's pretty crazy. It is summer. It sure is. All right. Well, I guess it is a good stopping point. We'll stop here. I owe timestamps for the last stream also, so I'll timestamp both this stream and that stream together. It's like surprisingly time consuming. Okay. Perfect. Whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, have a wonderful time of day. Thank you for joining me for today's visual novel reading stream. I'm out for the weekend. Usually I stream once over the weekend, but I'm out this weekend for a lot of cosplay events. Excuse me, so burpy today. So I'll be back probably on either Monday or Tuesday. Haven't decided. And the next stream I've been alternating. So we'll do Genshin next, and then maybe we'll finish this visual novel. Let me save before I really stupidly like close the game. Okay. And then look out for YouTubers, YouTube side people, look out for a YouTube community tab poll about what to do next in Genshin specifically. And then we'll do that for the next Genshin stream. Yeah. Thank you guys for coming to the stream. I always think it's really cute when people are like, thank you for the stream. I'm like, thank you for being here. Okay. Let me find Phoebe. Phoebe's doing karaoke. Aqua's playing Minecraft. Well, a lot of people are playing Minecraft. I guess it's the sponsorship. Oh, right. They had a fresh round of the sponsorship come through. So I think a lot of people took it. Hyosung is doing music. Tuano's playing Until Then. I've always wanted to play it. Oh, the DLC. Rin's doing Tomodachi Life. Wow, so many of my friends are streaming right now. Scooch is streaming too. Oh, Scooch has a big collab. We won't bother them. Okay. Let's go bother. Okay, who has the lowest view count? Let's do that. Let's go to Johan. Let's go to Johan. Okay. When you read VNs, I'm glad you enjoy them. I've always, like, I originally was like, would it be really boring for me to do more reading streams? Because, like, my book reading streams were not very well attended, you know what I mean? But I feel like the people who did come were really enjoying themselves. And I was enjoying myself. And I feel like as long as both of those things are true, it's worth it. Have fun at the cosplay events. Good luck finishing the costume. Thank you. Thankfully, I just finished the costume today. I did a wig styling test. Not fully styled because it's like a loose braid, so it kind of needs to be braided fresh. And then there's like an accent thing I added to the bow. And with that, I'm done. I'm officially done with the costume, which is exciting. I enjoy those the most. I appreciate that. Why? Yeah, I feel like going between like the 50-50 split I have going right now, where it's like 50% streams that are like for me and the people who are enjoying those like niche things, like a niche stream, and then I guess a mainstream stream also of something that I've been enjoying. I think as long as I maintain that balance, I'll be okay. That's the hope. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for coming. Bye bye. Go listen to the new cover. Go. Bye.